This week, we've got Batman, the absolute Batman, and we've got Superman. Batman in the comics, Superman in the films. Today, we are going to be talking about the absolute Batman issue 3, plus a whole bunch of other reviews. And a little bit later on, we're going to get into our thoughts about the Superman trailer, which dropped today, and everybody is excited about. Of course, we have to get in on that conversation. So we're not even going to wait until Saturday. We'll be talking about that right here tonight on Pals Pulls. Thank you for joining us. We have Marco.
What's up, super dogs?
We've got Tyler.
Look up. Isn't that the tagline of the movie? Just like, well,
At
It
6:15.
is. It is. And I'm Sean. Look up is a great tagline for all New Yorkers because we look at our phones when we're walking, right? And you don't look up and you don't realize that there's some things you need to move out of the way from.
oh, I thought this was gonna be a drones talk.
No. I'm not thinking about them damn drones. I'm not thinking about those
I,
drones.
I am a drone.
We
Well,
know.
that's obviously, yeah.
In addition to the three of us, we also have you, dear listener. Thank you for hanging out with us, whether you are live or in the future. We appreciate you choosing us to be your review crew tonight or whenever it is that you are tuned in. We are going to be talking about Absolute Batman number 3, New Gods number 1. I know everybody is excited for this. We've also got Ultimate Spider-Man number 12. Happy holidays.
Filled the
We've
chill.
got G.I. Joe number 2. We've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 5. Did I miss something? I think I did. What did I miss?
You might want
Oh.
to challenge yourself to
There it
Yes.
is.
pick up
Ooh,
Challengers of the Unknown.
Challengers
Yeah.
of the Unknown number 1.
that's
This is
nice.
I don't even know what variant this is. But I didn't want it. I'll tell you that because the
damn.
main cover is Mike Diodato, and that's my guy. So
Oh, all right.
I gotta say, we'll get to the book, but that I know that's the Challengers of the Unknown purple. It is a hideous color. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree.
It's
Little maroon.
plum. It looks like
Like-
pie filling. I already ate
Mass
pie. I ate
produced
before
pie.
the show, so I'm not hungry. But that's what it looks like.
Like you said, we'll get to that a little bit later on. Let's kick things off with Absolute Batman number 3. This is, of course, written by Scott Snyder with art by Nick Dragotta, Frank Martin, representing on the color side of things. And, of course, on the letters, we have Clayton Cowell as ever. What is he not lettering in comics? This issue... So next issue is the Batman Year One issue. That's going to be all flashback, drawn by Gabriel Walta. This issue, though, we actually got a flashback sequence as well. It was a flashback to the relationship between Bruce and Selina. You know, as you guys, I'm sure, are aware, Bruce has been friends with a lot of the primary rogues that we know from the mainline books as a kid, since he was a kid in this universe. And so Selina, Edward Nigma, they're not rogues yet. They're just regular people right now. But he's known them since he was a kid. So we got that flashback as she kind of, teaches him a little bit about fear. And then, of course, we've got the A story where Batman and Alfred are going to war with the Black Mask party animals. And there's some other stuff floating around in the background. This was an issue with a lot of propulsion. A lot went on in this one. How'd you guys feel about it?
Out the gate, book of the week.
Wow, nice.
Yeah,
You didn't
so
even call that on
I
Pals
know. So I was
Previews.
gonna say I was wrong, first of all. But yeah, I've been loving the momentum of this. I think there was another book that was in contention, but the thing that got me was a little bit closer to the end where the dominoes kind of fall from like a larger macro perspective, and we kind of just get these glimpses of what they mean and um, the caving of Bruce. And so I thought the flashback sequences with Selena were really good to like solidify and see how his character is being built. Like who the man he is now and the kid that he was, you can see a clearer point A to point B or point C. You know, like there are going to be moments in his life, and they're carried by these people who are important to him, and I love that. The conversation with Nigma or Edward rather, like that AI bit, but he's having a conversation with his friend. Like, I just love everything that Scott's doing here, and I've been on a Dragotta kick recently. East of West has been phenomenal. You know, catching up for the book club, and so just seeing the dynamicism in that continued in here and accelerated. Yeah, firing on all cylinders for me, on all bat cylinders for me.
Yeah, this was as I read all my books this week, I had not decided on what my pick of the week was. Um, until we just started talking about this, it clicked. It's this book. It is Absolute Batman #3, which is not what I picked on Pal's previews.
Wrong.
Which means hey, you gotta play it honestly, right? I can't game the system. But I think what really jumped out to me here is that this Bruce really is different. And not just in character, in environment. The fact that he has this whole team of friends, he's got family, he's got things that matter to him, that he's a little scared. He has stuff to lose, whereas, mainline Bruce Wayne lost everything already. He was a man with a mission, and that's it. Really, all he had was his mission and Alfred. You could justify, but in this, he has people he cares about, and it causes him to have a weak spot, and we see that here. The fact that the crux of this issue deals with Roman Sionis, Black Mask, kind of giving him this ultimatum, like, hey, I can make you rich, essentially making him Bruce Wayne as we know him, if you kind of pull off on me. You break your vow on crime to let me do my thing. You can still be Batman. Feel free. Just don't be Batman to me. And seeing Bruce gamble with that and the different changes that show, like his mom now more in the spotlight politically, so she's going to be in the target of Black Mask. It's refreshing. It's different. It's still Batman, but it doesn't feel like Bruce Wayne. But at the same time, it does. It's really weird. I don't know how Scott Snyder was able to do this, to be honest. The fact that this Bruce Wayne is so recognizable but so unrecognizable at the same time. I think it's actually masterfully done and surprises me a lot with each issue that I read of this. Going into Absolute Batman, I was not totally hyped on it. A little bit of same old with Scott Snyder. He completely subverted my expectations. This is really good.
Nice.
To this point, I would say this is exactly why I was excited for Scott Snyder's take on Absolute Batman. Because to me, when we can get a writer who has already done great things on a particular character to come back to that character down the line, and to this point, it's been, I mean, Scott Snyder's run officially ended on Batman about a decade ago now. He's lived a lot of life since then. As a man, Scott has. And the world has changed. And so, what does Scott Snyder, as a man now approaching his 50s, think about Batman in a way that's different than a man who was approaching his, he was in his early 30s maybe when he initially got the project? I think that's fascinating. I think that's really interesting. And I think Scott has made good on that to this point, because I think you guys are right. It does feel like Batman, but it also feels like Batman with a slight twist, and not a twist for the sake of edginess. Actually, I think it's a more well-rounded character overall. That's the twist.
Bruce Wayne is less edgy in this.
Yeah.
Yep. He's brooding, but in almost like a different way. Batman's edgier in this, the way Batman works. He's definitely edgier. But Bruce Wayne's a different character entirely.
He feels like he's not calculated, but he's a lot more pensive. Like Batman, he plans, right? That is the Batman that we know, and you give him enough time and he can do something. But this is somebody who he weighs risk, and so he compromises. Batman in mainline is uncompromising in his mission, in who he is as a vigilante. This is somebody who says, "No, hold on. There's a lot of chips here. How do I bluff my way? How do I risk something but still keep? How do I hedge my bets on that?"
And I think it's pretty smart because it makes it more relatable. Like the fact that this is the everyman Bruce Wayne rather than the rich,
Mm,
you know, playboy that is our Bruce Wayne. The fact that he has his family, the fact that he is a little unsteady in his, mission, or at least it seems that way. It is more relatable. It's more humanizing, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think to this point, him having friends in general is really smart and different because a lot of superheroes just don't have friends anymore. But the fact that they're also characters that we already know, like Scott didn't create, you know, Harold Smith to be a friend of Bruce Wayne. Nobody gives a shit about Harold Smith. He used characters we already have a familiarity with and cast them in different roles, and we'll see how that plays out. But I think already they're more interesting than they would be if the Riddler was just like a bad guy the same way he is in Mainline.
Yeah, and
yeah,
the Riddler is his close friend that he can talk to for advice on like tech stuff, sure. But like Riddler gives him like life advice, like, hey, you might want to slow down here, you know?
yeah.
Um, which then makes like the potential other shoe dropping even more tense because it's like
Mm.
it's still Riddler. I know that's Riddler. What's gonna happen? Because I'm almost expecting a fallout in some way. Um, if it ever comes, and maybe they're just gonna edge me the entire time for this, and I won't. It will never happen. But it's compelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of things that have been set up, even just in these three issues, which, by the way, include an insane amount of action. These issues are action packed, but they're also they take time to have moments of dialogue and moments that matter, emotional beats. It's a lot of balancing, and I'm surprised that they're able to pull this off every week or every month, rather, excuse me.
I want to give praise to Dracoda too because you're right. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of panels,
Yeah.
and somehow I don't feel it. The combination of those two with the page layouts, like there's a lot of panels, but the panels aren't bogged down by writing either. So you're not feeling the weight of it. It's not like, oh, we're doing a lot of panels so we can fit in as much dialogue or narration as possible. No, some of the panels just show quick snippets of what's happening. But the showing of that tells us the story.
Well, the actual time in between shows us the progression of what's happening in the scene, but the conversations that are happening progress the plot. Like I'm looking at the page where after the big explosion, the Batmobile turns into, or rather, we get uh, the tank transform into the car, and then we have the gunner, and there's a page that just has yeah. Do the next page actually, Sean.
Sure.
Yeah, that page has a bunch of panels on it. But if you look at the story and what's going on, they're having a conversation interspliced by the tense moment, but they're also calling out the time, the seconds in between. So you know that this whole page is happening over the course of 10 seconds, 15 seconds max, and this is the conversation that's happening. So it feels frenetic, and at the same time, you're seeing continuity. There's a moment where he's like, "By quitting, forget it," in a small panel, and he presses the button right underneath. Easy translation to, okay, this is forward momentum, we're still moving, we're still doing stuff, and yes, there's conversation happening, but the conversation plays into the story, not the thing that's happening in the moment. We're not getting told what's happening, we're shown, and the plot stuff happens while we have conversation.
And you know what? I just counted. There are 13 panels on this page.
Yeah, bro.
And that is an insane amount of panels. We've all heard, those of us who have done the research, we've all heard, Alan Moore and, some of the stuff he said about the amount of panels that you should have on a page. And the conventional wisdom is less is more. And yet, in this comic, more is actually more. And like nothing is lost. Like Dragota's art is still fantastic looking, even when you're getting it in these micro panels like that. The small panels serve a purpose in a lot of instances. There's a tremendous sequence here while Black Mask is
Yeah.
decimating this MMA fighter
It's
or whatever,
it's
boxing fighter.
Bibbo from Superman lore. They said Bibbo Bukowski. It's the Superman guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're having this fight, and just these three panels right here showing Bibbo tap out. It's like tap, tap, tap. That's such a you could not do that if you weren't willing to put. I mean, this page has 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 panels on this page. You couldn't show that moment if you weren't willing to put 16 panels on the page.
In the panels, they break conventions that, like Alan Moore, would talk about because the book is breaking the conventions of Batman. So the craft of it is also breaking the same conventions that you're used to seeing in a Batman book. And I love it. I think that those tiny panels, it's like staccato almost.
Yeah.
It adds a rhythm to it. And it almost feels like Edgar Wright's movies where there's quick jump cuts too, of
Sure.
like hyper focusing on something, which adds like a speed to the reading to it. It's really really well done.
If you go back to that sequence, Sean, with the wrestler,
Yeah.
so it's all in like this like red, pink, you get all of these like really like uh moodier, almost like violent tones. And then if you go back 2 pages, you're gonna see the Riddler moments where it's like this green and purple, and the colors here are doing hard work too to set mood and distinguish moments and scenes from each other.
Yes.
Frank Martin is a master, and he's really getting to, as Sean would say, put his whole ass into this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, to the kids, right? If you are newer to comics and you haven't necessarily dissected books like The Dark Knight Returns or Watchmen or whatever, I'm not trying to tell you that this is in that league, but what I will tell you is that you can learn a lot about the construction of comics from reading Absolute Batman. It's not that common in today's age where you can learn about the way to tell comic stories better, differently, experimentation even in a Batman book. But we're getting it. We're getting it in a Batman comic, and it's a Scott Snyder one at that. I don't think they're pulling any punches. I think Scott Snyder wants to, and Nick Dragotta certainly, and Frank Martin, to stake their claim over the character and say, this is what we're willing to hang our hat on. And I believe that this could end up being the better. I mean, it's only 3 issues in. This is hyperbole speaking. This could end up being the superior Scott Snyder Batman when all said and done. It's
Mm.
radical. It's different. It's compelling. They're playing it. They're not playing it safe. And I think Scott Snyder is just better now than he was, and for me that's a compliment. He's better now than he was 15 years ago.
That's the only thing that I would say that's a compliment too. Yeah, because that's what you'd want to be as a writer, right? Like Snyder's been in the indie verse for so long since his run at DC Comics. He had a whole Scott Tober,
Yeah.
and I think he's learned from that. And there is a bit of an indie twang to this as well.
Yeah,
To that last point you made, Sean, if you don't mind, could you go to the page where it's his mom? It's like just 5 panels,
yes,
um, and they get blacked out for a second.
yeah, got it.
Yeah, so we were talking about like motion and action previously. This is for me a hugely well constructed page for emotion, where you have this conversation about Bruce trying to tell his mom to one, get across that things might be too big, and he's talking about himself and how does he defend things, but also tell his mom to get out the way. And they have that exchange where she says, in that blacked out panel, after this kind of like tenser moment, I'm gonna kiss you now so I don't slap you. Right? We've cut to black in that moment in order to produce some kind of fear, worry. There's tension there. Then it's the kiss, goodbye, Bruce, clean up when you're done, and it cuts back to Bruce. He's leaned over, hunched over, and he's in black, right? Like dread, emotion, you can feel so much in that. So I think as much as we're doing a lot of panels for action and it is experimental, there's also space for emotion in these things. Again, another I feel like lesson to learn off this.
And I think those panels in particular, like when I saw the silhouette, that's like, oh, they want me to focus on the body language. That's all I can see here.
Yeah.
And you can see the mom is taller than Bruce in that situation, even though she's not. This Bruce is fucking jacked. He's yoked up, but he's still a little
great.
boy, you know?
Yeah.
He's still her younger son. And then when he's slumped like that, he is not big. He's defeated. And then I think that the silhouette just makes you really just focus on like you have nothing else to look at. Just look at the body language. It's great.
And to that breakdown you guys just did, you know, having him sitting down is what allows that sequence to play that way.
Mm. Mm.
So very smart.
That's true. Batman doesn't sit down a lot unless he's on like Metron's chair or the back computer. He's not a big sit down person.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. We talk about this shit, it just gets more exciting.
And to be honest with you, I came in here feeling like I'm not sure what my pick of the week is because there's another book that I'm going to be honest, I love pretty much everything in our pile.
I flip-flopped a lot this week. At one point, I think before he came on the show, it was going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We'll get to it. But like,
yo,
that's a wild thing for me to think.
Sean,
Yeah, dude.
Yo, that's crazy.
Marco, we get to talk about the book, so
yeah,
we'll
talk
get to it.
about
Don't
that.
blow your
We'll talk
load so
about
early. Jeez.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm ready to say is that this is my pick of the week because I feel like we don't always come on this show, even if we love a book, and have this much to say about the craft.
Hmm.
And the book is great. Like the beats and the moments are all great, but they're enhanced because we can look at this book and say, wait, this is actually well constructed. There's a lot of depth of thought going into what we're seeing here that's making it all work on another grander level. And to me, that's the magic of comics. So I would say hats off to everybody involved with this book. This is a home run, 3 issues deep, and this is in contention to me for book of the year.
Damn, dude. Yeah.
I can't disagree with any of that. Yeah.
It's excellent.
So write that down in your stats, Marco. Unanimous pick of the week.
I did already, dude. I
Is there going to be a stat for how many unanimous ones there are?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Wait till you see the pivot that I got, dude. Oh,
You fucking dork.
So we've set our piece on Absolute Batman. Let's see what you guys had to say in the poll. Don't forget, we put up polls for every one of these books that we review. So make sure you vote. 70% of you said poll.
wow.
17% of you said pick of the week. 10% said didn't read or buy. And 2% said pass. What's up with the pass vote? Who did that?
Joker.
Joker in the chat.
Oh, man. Speaking of who's in the chat, let's say what's up to Absolute Overthinker. Good to see you, pal. Cole, what's up, Cole? Comic book history, always here with us. Thank you. Banksy Maine, what's good? Uncaged, how's it going? Atomic Hound, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Steve Canaris, what's up, Steve? Good to see you. Izzy's Issues is with us tonight. Joe is with us. Very thankful to have you people hanging out with us. We started the year with a fraction of you. We're ending the year really strong. There are over 60 of you hanging out with us here on a chilly Thursday night. Thank you for showing up. Really appreciate it.
I want to call out Steve Matthews' comment here. My wife, in quotes, really? You're going to leave me at the party to go home and watch your comic podcast? Yep.
That's what I like to see. What's up, Hecatron?
Hey.
Dark Cloud NC, what's good? Steve Matthews, as Tyler mentioned. Those are the names I can see right now. Jedi Ty, thank you guys for hanging out with us. You guys are amazing. We had Al Ewing on the show last Saturday. It was an excellent conversation. Run those numbers up, man. I want to see more support for the interviews because we try to give you guys, interviews all year, bangers, and we're going to try to go even harder next year. So run those numbers up. Al Ewing is a master. And I think you guys really are missing out if you don't hear that conversation. It was great. Also, we're going to be talking about the Superman trailer a little bit later on. It dropped today. Everybody's excited about James Gunn's Superman. We are too. We have thoughts. We're going to share those with you here on the show. We're not even waiting until Saturday. And Saturday's a big show too. There's so much shit going on right now. I feel like they're closing out the year a little bit strong. It's been dry news-wise the last few weeks. So there's finally stuff to talk about, including the next creative team behind Spider-Man.
Oh.
I'm gonna shut up until Saturday.
There you go. There you go. Tilo, JK Industries is totally Joker, right? That's where my mind went.
Same. Yeah. Oh, and I
okay,
loved the arc letter idea. Very cool.
See, that's where the Scott Snyderism comes in that I don't love
No.
as much. Like Arc M, what is that?
Black Site.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's fine. It's fine. It's just one of those things.
The M's a little far in the alphabet. There's got to be a lot of arcs, you know.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Damn. I like.
We'll
All
see.
right. All right. All right. Fair enough.
Hecatron, when you boys getting Dennis Camp on? Trust me, brother, that is top of list for me. That is my number one most wanted interview right now.
He just announced his new image book too. That is a
Yep.
take on Crisis on Infinite Earths without superheroes. Come on.
Hell yeah. Hell
Someone
yeah.
go reach out to that individual and let him know to respond to my emails.
And DMs, because I've jumped in those DMs. Gavin Guidry, what's up, Gavin? The artist behind, well, I mean, a comic book artist at this point. You know, the artist behind Superman 78, The Metal Curtain, the man who has some very exciting announcements waiting in the wings.
Mm-hmm.
He says, wait till you hear what book I just signed on to for a couple issues. Well, shoot, I can't wait to find out the answer to that.
What if it's Absolute Batman?
Wild.
Shit, bring it on.
Do it.
Bring it on. Bring it on. All right. Let's get into the New Gods, number one. Speaking of bring on Ram V's latest dish. He cooked it up, served it to us proper like. The New Gods, number one, joined by Evan Cagle, of course, his partner on Dawn Runner. Jorge Fornes taps in for a page here in this issue. Colors by Francesco Segala, letters by Tom Napolitano. There hasn't been a New Gods book, to my knowledge, since I've been reading DC Comics. If there was, it wasn't on my radar. I know these characters because they've appeared in other things. You know, certainly we've all read Mr. Miracle by Tom King and Mitch Gerrits. So a lot of these characters I have familiarity from that. And in a way, this book feels like an extension of Mr. Miracle. It feels like it's got tonally when we're on Earth, it gives me that vibe. It feels, you know, because the sort of one of the main characters here is actually Mr. Miracle. And when he's involved, it feels like that. I mean, him and Barda have a kid here, which of course is echoes from Mr. Miracle. But essentially, this whole book revolves around the idea that now that Darkseid has died, the game has changed. That is the impetus for all of this, and that is very exciting. It feels like the DC connectivity is stronger than it's been certainly in a long time. Highfather has a mission for Orion that makes a lot of sense for Orion. He wants Orion to go and kill a child who is about to be, I guess, unveiled as a new god with powers. And Orion doesn't want to do it, but he will do it because not only is he he's been raised by Highfather, but he's the son of Darkseid. So it is inside of him to be able to kill a kid.
I like that.
And the way that him and Mr. Miracle are cast on opposite ends in this book is that Mr. Miracle is the son of Highfather, and he would not kill a kid, and he would not want to allow this to happen. And Orion says, hey, man, if you don't stop this, I'm going to do it. So you need to save me by saving this kid from me. And we're off to the races.
I also took that to be some sort of like politicking, in the same way that when Light Ray shows up, you know, he tells him, "Oh, this isn't a job for you, son." You know, the to not sully the would be children of of Highfather to do such a thing. I no there's no proof of that right now. A theory more so than anything else, but it feels like there are things or like mechanisms here that are going to involve some kind of like saving of face or involve being representative of either Apocalypse or New Genesis.
Well, that's the thing with the New Gods, though. That's always politicking.
Hmm.
And book is specifically the New Gods. We don't really deal with Apocalypse in this.
Yeah,
It's like the parademons are all over the place. That's how we get introduced to Orion. He's just in a different planet, having to deal with a nest of parademons,
that was
just
cool.
because they have no leader anymore. Like Apocalypse is out of the equation, so we really have to focus on the New Gods. And because of that, it almost feels like when more mutants started popping up. We got a new god that might threaten the balance of things because the balance is skewed without Darkseid. So I like that, how we're really just focusing on the new gods proper. I thought one of the really good things that they did in this, that Ramvi did, was introduced all the characters really well. He named the ones expressly that needed to be named, like Akala. I'm not familiar with Akala. Or there's a Fast Brack or something like that. The other fast one in the beginning. There's a lot of New Gods characters that exist that I'm unfamiliar with, and Ramvi is building up this world and this character set that I think is very well done, and especially the Orion bit. But I think Eben Cale did an even better job there. There's that bit with Orion getting introduced where you see that giant lettering for Orion behind Orion that
Yeah,
really jumps out to me. It felt almost anime-ish. There was like it had movement even though I'm looking at a static image. Like I heard a big
yeah,
thump. It felt like a Marvel Rivals MVP screen. And I thought it was great. I love the characters in this. I will say the opening of this book kind of threw me off a bit. It was a little much in terms of the waxing poetic on the nature of gods and the state of the universe. I thought it was a little much for the first couple pages because I was like, oh, hold on now. I feel like I'm out of my depth. This is, baby's first New Gods book. But I got it. Once the actual story happened, we got to like the title, like past the title page and into the story proper. I was, off to the races. But the opening of it was like, whoa, hold on now. Slow down for me. And eventually they did.
yeah. It was definitely for me the two Metron pages where he's
Yeah.
like suddenly getting this information after feel like I'm looking at a different kind of art style in the 2 pages prior. There was a bit of like a rhythm break, I
It,
think. But I think once you get past that, it's like, oh, okay, fine. I can ground myself in the more direct things that are going on.
the,
I
the only
enjoyed
way
it.
the only way I could describe that opening was like the opening of Kingdom Hearts. It's like bringing us to this place where it's going to show us some really impressive things to look at, but tell us it in this Final Fantasy speak that I don't understand. And it doesn't matter how long I look at these words, I won't fully understand what's happening. And that's by design. It was a little confusing, but once the story happened, I was into it.
I think that this was tremendous. I really do. I think Ram V did an excellent job of introducing characters through conflict and through drama. You don't have to have a depth of experience with characters to understand what they want, and who they like, who they don't like, who they're in conflict with. Those are the things that help you get past knowing intimately who someone is. And I think, if you've never read Mr. Miracle by Tom King and Mitch, uh, that's okay because you understand what? You understand High Father is God. He's the God of gods. And you understand that he's playing, there's some angle that he's got going on here, right? And maybe he's even playing these people against each other. You understand Orion's loyalty. You also understand his fear of this situation. You understand Mr. Miracle loves children. He has a child. So there's no way that Mr. Miracle is going to allow Orion to kill a kid, even though Mr. Miracle says, I don't want anything to do with this. But he can't say no to that because, again, they just showed that he's got a new baby. So I think that was all really smartly done. by Rom. And we know Rom can play with ensembles. He did it in the Vigil. But
Mm.
this feels like he's operating on a higher level. He's operating with characters who are exposed to more, who have bigger powers, there's bigger things at stake. But I also think on an emotional level, he's delivering more than he did on the Vigil. Arguably more than he's delivered in any of his DC work to this point, other than pieces of Swamp Thing. We're exposing ourselves now to another element of what Rom V is capable of. And it's all shown to us beautifully through the talents of Evan Cale, who has leveled up a lot since Dawn Runner.
Yeah.
He really has. Yeah. Just in terms of like flow of story. In this, it's a little less experimental than Dawn Runner. But that's not saying it's not experimental. Like, it is still wild stuff he manages to do here. And the thing that jumped out to me out of Evan Cagle's art that I really enjoyed was the fact that the New Gods, in my eyes, always look too human. And there's a inhumanness to the designs here that I think is really well done. Sure, Mr. Miracle looks just like a dude, but like even all like Highfather has like the like stoniest face ever. Almost looks like one of those Prometheus aliens in a way. Like there's something off about the way all these New Gods look that kind of takes them either fully inhuman, like a Cale, which looks like a God of War villain in the background, or nearly inhuman, so it's a little uncanny valley like Allfather or Orion when he shows his true face. I really dug that. That's always been something that was like, oh, I wish people would kind of play with the idea. These are space beings. Yes, they're gods, but they're also aliens. So I thought the character design of this was phenomenal.
Yeah, go ahead, Marco.
No, go.
There's a lot to love here. I really thought this was a tremendous first issue. I think there are a lot of weeks where this could have been the pick of the week for me. It's just this is such a packed week, and I think Absolute Batman was so good, but this has a lot of promise to it. I feel like first issues are tough. They nailed it, absolutely. But there's so much more to come. Like, how many other New Gods are there that we weren't introduced to here that will have a part to play? You know, how does this intersect even further with Darkseid? How does this intersect maybe even with other characters in DC that aren't New Gods? You know, there's a lot that can happen. And to top it off, for those of you who are deep in the lore, we saw the source wall restored. That's a big deal.
That was cool. Great scene with the panels breaking apart and going across a 2-page spread. Ooh.
Yeah. That
Okay,
shit.
Cale.
That shit hit me, bro. I know that stuff confuses a lot of people. I'm not even saying I understand it all, but just watching that fucking god get annihilated by the source wall like that was nuts.
Well, it even like visually represents the enormity of these things, right? Like, you're talking about gods. This being has broken panels, has broken our understanding of reality within the comic, and now this fucking infinite looking thing just goes bzz. What?
Yeah.
All right, brain blown. That's it.
Sick, dude. Sick.
I think I want a little bit. I do want more. I want more out of this in terms of where the characters are gonna net out with the baby. Like Highfather, I like that he's playing his games. You know, he's doing something there. Orion's obviously confused by the asp, will fulfill it, but doesn't quite understand that. For me, I think that a Rom V book takes time to unfold, and so right now I'm on page 1. Page 2 is going to be a fold this way, and then it's going to fold this way, and so I'm waiting for that right now. This wasn't a contender for pick of the week for me purely because I think Rom V needs time, and I'm so ready to give him time.
I hear you.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Marco. I thought it was really good, but I want more of it, and I mean that in a positive way. Like, it's still cooking. I smell the ingredients. It smells good. I love being near the kitchen, but I need to see what that dish looks like.
Agreed. Yep. Hard agree. And shout out to whoever's doing colors. Let me go back on this one.
Oh, it's Segala,
Yeah,
Francesco
Francesco
Segala.
Sisco. There's the moment where we get introduced to Orion, you know, all in red, action packed, these reds and
Yo,
yellows, and then we get to the moment of there's like a goldenness to whatever's going on, and then the page turn is Mr. Miracle has piss on his hands, like
Okay, that pee was
so
way too metallic looking. That was
it
shiny pee.
but it was on purpose. It was
it's God
so
P.
yeah it
It looked like the glue I would use in the 90s. You
Yeah,
know
it's the piss of the
glitter
gods,
glue.
bro.
I guess it's God pee.
and and then even the diaper is like glowing a little bit when he's gonna throw it out, but it's funny because that transitions into like the sequence of sun starting to come out, like the daytime is starting, so I just thought it was a funny little cheeky moment, but huge shout outs to the colors on that.
Dude, and what's up with Orion while we're at it? This dude looks like a fucking manga character. My man's jacked.
Yo,
Look
he
at
looked like,
these arms, bro. What's up with that?
tell me not, he looks like a Digimon. You know what I mean, like when they
Yeah,
get to that
Yeah.
he looks like
that like
Angemon. Yeah,
like that human-esque level of
Yes.
Digimon.
Yes. I love that.
like his pre-evolution was
Oh.
just a dog right before this.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I
And
mean,
then the last thing I wanted to call out was Orion's fucking face reveal. That was nuts.
So
face
cool.
card declined, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh my God.
The
No bueno.
Gavin says it really well. It's craggy. Like,
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
That's a good line. I like that, Craggy. This gets the double greener from me. I think this was a phenomenal comic. It wouldn't be my pick for best issue one of the year, but because this has been a crazy year for issue ones, but it is in the conversation for me. Probably in a top five. I think they did a tremendous job. And all any doubts that I might have had on the Evan Cagle front, because I didn't love Dawn Runner from a visual standpoint, are erased.
Yeah.
He's got it. He's in the driver's seat. He's owning this moment. And I'm really happy for him. I think this is excellent. I can't wait for more.
Before I say what I want to say, did we call out Atomic Hound Super Chat yet?
Go for it.
$9.99. Thank you, Atomic Hound. New Gods feels like it nods to previous versions of Kirby to King, but also new and different. In the end, Rom will tell the story he wants, and this is a great start. Yeah,
Hard agree.
I agree.
Cannot wait for more.
And so what are your thoughts? Yeah.
I thought it was great. I like the New Gods characters, and I'm excited to read a book about them from a creative team that I enjoy. I liked Mr. Miracle and that book by Tom King and Mitch Gerrard's. Orion in Azraella's Wonder Woman is a great character.
Oh yeah.
And he was one of my favorite parts of the book. So like I'm starving for more New Gods, and I haven't been able to get it anywhere until now. And this is a team that I think is going to kill it. So this is a real exciting start for me. This would be a green flag if I had a bit.
And before we get too far away from this one, Last Young Renegade says, "Hey pals, glad to be able to turn into the live show. How did you find Evan Cagle as a sequential artist? I know he's more of a concept artist. We've mentioned it and alluded to it here and there, but when we first were introduced to Dawn Runner, the other Image title that they're working on, Rom V, I think the sequentials, the in between moments to page or panel to panel, the representations, like what the right moments are, were definitely maybe mistimed, I think, or like hard to understand and comprehend sometimes. You kind of like look at the page and like, what's going on there? This is, to what Sean has said, cleared up completely. So highly recommend you go back to Dawn Runner if you want to see like where that trajectory of progression is, or if not, just stick on this one.
And I recommend Dawn Runner anyway. It's a really good book. It's done now. It's done, Runner. It's a real interesting take on like out of like time displacement and kaijus and being a parent. It's interesting.
Steve Matthews says Rom V on New Gods is the best creative decision DC could have made going into 2025, alongside now making Power Girl's boob window the shape of Superman's S symbol. I am all in. Where can I see that, by the way?
That's disgusting. Where can I see it?
Yeah, in which comic does that appear so that I can fucking so that I can protest it vehemently on social media.
Oh, Sean, I wonder if there was an ongoing Power Girl book being published right now, huh? There
Oh,
is.
shit.
It's pretty good.
Damn.
I think
All
it's
right.
Leah
Leah
Williams.
Williams?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
It's goofy. It's a funny book.
plots for plots, if you will.
There it is.
Um, Comic book history says, I feel like this week is when All In started playing into the DC mainline story. Then Doom Rule kicks into gear next month. Love that DC and Marvel are moving into new eras together. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like one of the things I always complain about is a lack of connectivity, and now the big two are both moving more into that direction of interconnected storytelling. I have not been a fan of Amazing Spider-Man at all over the last few issues, but what I do like, at least, is that it is dealing with some of the Doom stuff that's going on. So at least we can see it kind of taking place. All right. Before we move into the next book, I do want to end this poll because you guys really loved Dawn Runner. 49% of you say pull, 22% say pick of the week, didn't buy/read is 16% of you, and pass is 11%. Why'd you
Wow.
pass?
Yeah, let
Why'd
us
you
know.
pass? And by the way, to the 80 of you here with us live, smash the like button. Hit that like button if you're enjoying what we're doing. Patreon.com/the Comics Pals is the best way to support. Channel memberships are open, as Atomic Hound so graciously showed us a few moments ago. Super chats are open, so lots of ways to show your support and love. As we dive into the next book, Challengers of the Unknown, #1. This is written by Christopher Cantwell, with art by Sean Isaacs, colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr., and letters by Hassan Otsman El How. Another group that I know absolutely nothing about is the Challengers of the Unknown. My understanding is that they're super scientists, and they've been brought into the fold here with the Justice League, not to be members of the league, but to be like the scientists of the league, the Mr. and Mrs. Fix-Its. You know, if there's something unknown going on, then they're the ones to challenge it and to go and seek it out. And so they have been given missions here to figure out what's up with these anomalies, which is great because it's giving them something to do. But something is happening that even the challengers don't quite understand yet. And maybe Mr. Terrific and Superman know more than they do, which sets up an interesting paradigm between these characters. Would you guys make a Challengers of the Unknown?
I liked how it felt like this book was a whole bunch of executive assistants for the Justice League trying to work
Yes.
on as limited information as they were given, and being frustrated because of that. There was a goofiness to this book that I enjoyed. I think Cantwell does a real good job of like not on your in your face humor, but things are kind of funny in the background. His current Plastic Man run does a lot of that. It's a dark book, but it is funny. And I think there was a goofiness here. I think the challengers realized, like, why are we here? Well, it's because there's unknown and we have to do it. Like, sure, sure. But even they have that question. And I think this book asks that question constantly. Like, why do these people need to exist in this situation? Batman's here, Superman's here. They're being run by Mr. Terrific, who will not tell them everything. Why are they here? And I think it answers it at the end with a good little tease. Like, they're here because something happened, something went wrong. And I like that. I like that a lot. I like how these people are way out of their depth, and they're used to being out of their depth. But even in this, they're uneasy about it. It's a good mystery. I think having Superman be the first character that they team up with is a good play on humanity versus superhumanity. That's the theme of this. Let's start off with the most superhuman person we can have, Superman, and how an average Joe, a could have been Green Lantern, deals with that. I thought it was really, really interesting. Christopher Cantwell has the most unfair last name in comics because he can well, because this is a really good book, and I recommend it.
Yeah, I started off a little mixed on this. I wasn't sure of the direction, and I was getting frustrated by what felt like, okay, obviously we're information is being withheld here. They're still doing their job, fine. Like I mean, I didn't like that initial premise. The end and the twist there turns it around for me, but not enough that I care to potentially come back to this. I thought it was a good issue, but uh, it's odd to me that we're gonna deal with the consequences of, and yes, they were directly tied to in the DC special, but we're gonna deal with the consequences of a dark side in a Challengers of the Unknown book, presumably, and um, the the bit where they're on the planet, and they have this first anomaly, and suddenly there's this whole like other dimension moment where Ace is taken out to in his mind, and he gets punched by a potential him of Green Lantern. I wasn't getting it. I wasn't buying it. I wasn't sure of the conflict there. I was a little confused, and so I wasn't too hot on this one, but I still think it was done well enough that you could enjoy it.
I loved this. I thought this was really, really strong. Christopher Cantwell has been surprising me. Um, this felt like what I wanted the question book to feel like. Big, big questions, big characters, drama, conflict. It's got all those elements that I want from comics, and it's doing it once again with characters that I'm not familiar with, but I don't need to be because the book fills in the blanks enough to where I'm compelled by their story and their journey. Like, what is the reason for this book to exist? Oh, well, the Justice League are mad fucking busy. And also, they're not necessarily super scientists. The challengers of the unknown are. So, yeah, maybe this book won't end up being the most action packed series, but it's going to handle another side of the conflict that has become a problem since All in Special number one. And that's what we need. Yeah, they could do this in the Justice League book, but there's other shit to do. And that's why it's like, okay, if you're going to sell me a comic book, right? Don't just fart something out like, oh, we want a book, we want a Challenger's book. Oh, what are we going to do? I don't know, just figure something out. No, they found a way to tether this to what is happening at DC, making it feel interconnected, thus immediately validating the premise. Then on top of that, it turns out the creative team is excellent because Sean Isaacs and Christopher Cantwell, they're pretty talented. They know what they're doing.
I've been on the Sean Isaacs train for a while. He worked on Champions a bit, some of the Avengers stuff. I think that Al was doing.
And he also was on the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
the
Hawkeye Thunderbolts.
Yes.
Yeah. Sean Isaacs kind of an underrepresented name. Like I think he's under talked about. Really good, just big two comic book storytelling.
Yeah, man. I was so impressed, and it's like, okay, who are these people? Well, as a collective, they sort of feel like the jobbers. One of the guys complains about how he's got to run around and fix the septic system, and he's frustrated by that. It's like we're super geniuses. What reason do we have to be, cleaning up toilets because Orion took a massive shit?
I would think they would have perfectly usable sewage system at the Watchtower, right? Like,
or a janitor.
They have boom tubes. Can't you just don't they have boom tubes too, like to fix the situation here?
But it really does make sense. Like I know you're joking, but it's like you can't have, Joe Schmo on the Watchtower to clean up. You can't invite regular folk to the Watchtower. Someone's got to do it.
It's almost like they made reasons for them to be here because something's wrong with these guys. We need you to stay here almost. Because when Darkseid died, you guys were around and y'all got fucked up and we won't tell you what happened.
And I think that's playing in the background of this story as well. There's multiple levels and who is emerging, and obviously we know it's deliberate. We've all seen the Superman trailer. We're going to talk about that more a little bit. Mr. Terrific is a major player in this issue. And I love him as in that role of the coordinator, the strategizer, delegating. Here's what you guys are going to go ahead and do for me. But also I have a secret that I'm not going to tell you about. That makes me want to see what that secret is. There's no doubt in my mind I'm on the hook for this comic.
Especially that ending bit where Mr. Terrific takes Superman off on the side. And like Mr. Terrific is Mr. Calm and Collected, really. He's not there. He's like, get rid of this shit right now. And I was like, whoa, hold on. Whoa, that's a quick shift. Something is happening here. Yeah, it was good.
That crazy sequence with the one, I'm not familiar with their names yet, but the one Challenger guy who's like, he could have been a Green Lantern, but he wasn't.
Yeah, Ace.
So that was crazy.
Ace, right?
Ace.
Yeah, and I love how he's so parallel to the superheroes. You know, even Hal Jordan's like, he should have had the ring. Imagine Hal Jordan tells you that, and instead you're just like a normal dude. When superheroes are saying, "Hey, you should have been the superhero, not me," that must feel like shit in a way. You know, this is somebody.
And what the fuck happened?
What do you mean?
Like, why didn't that work out? Why, like?
Oh, I don't
know.
Not sure about that. Yeah,
but I love that though. Like, I love that. Like, I don't
he's
know
it could have
the
been.
answer.
Yeah.
And I want to know, like, what happened. If Hal Jordan, the premier Green Lantern, is telling you, hey man, you could have been the one, and you weren't, why not?
Could be a wrong place, wrong time, maybe. Could something else be amiss? Possibly.
Exactly. Can anybody, like, does anybody know for a fact, like, is that historical with this character, or is that being introduced here?
I do know for a fact Ace is a known pilot within Hal Jordan's thing. I think Ace shows up in New Frontier as a side character, possibly. But I am familiar with him as being like an Ace pilot.
How did you guys feel about the little fat in between bubbles? Did you guys notice that? Whenever there were like two bubbles connected, that instead of it being like a thinner line or something, it was just like fat transition.
Pull up an example. You mean like
on
you mean
all
like
of them?
this?
Yeah, as opposed to like a thin one from a lettering standpoint.
Yeah, that's just, stylistic. I don't have any problem with that. I think it flows. I mean, there's different examples. Like here, they go with the longer, thinner line, but I think it's just the proximity, probably, of the bubbles to each other. At least is what I'm thinking of.
I didn't even notice it. I think it's just working with the space you have.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, this was phenomenal. I'm actually gonna double flag this too, because I was so impressed by this comic book. I really was.
Outside of the horrid shade of purple that they wear, this is a green flag. Just let's cool down that purple a bit. Let's get it away from red. Let's get it more towards blue. But otherwise, really, really fun book.
Yeah, this is cool. Good enough.
You're a pull on it, Marco?
I am. I still am. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Let's see what you guys are saying in the poll that we put up. And it's kind of an interesting one. So 41% of you say pull. 41% of you also say didn't buy or read. 14% say pass, and only 2% say pick of the week. I want this to be my endorsement. If you don't do anything else I say, buy this one. Buy this book. Because undoubtedly this will sell the least out of all of the books on our stack this week. But it's one of the best. So don't sleep. Buy this comic. That's what I say.
I did like the mentions of we know that in this all in moment, Swamp Thing is Levi. The Sea Devils got a shout out.
Dude, I was hyped about the Sea Devils, yeah.
Yeah, same. I was like, what?
Aren't the Sea Devils just underwater challengers of the unknown?
That's all they are, literally. Yeah. That's it.
It's like how Speed Buggy is just Scooby-Doo with a car. Yeah.
So it's cool little nods. And I think it was fun to see the connectivity of the world with little mentions like that. That was neat because, again, this is all in. You're on the Watchtower. You're obviously going to come across these people.
Set the comments. Lucas Hallner says, thank you. This is very kind. This podcast is the only thing getting me through my Thursday, 7 a.m., 11 p.m. Holy shit. 7 a.m., 11 p.m. shifts, but it pays for my 12 to 15 comics I buy each week. I have 50 Transformers covers, and there's only been 15 issues. Oh my God, Lucas.
Holy
Lucas, that
shit.
math ain't mathin'. I'm sorry.
Woo. Brother, you're
That's
putting up Atomic Hound numbers. Who are you?
3 per book or something?
He says also, love this show. So glad I found you guys months ago. Best channel on YT. Thank you, sir. It's very kind of you. Appreciate you, brother. Uh Absolute Overthinker says, all I know is Ace wasn't introduced in the Jeff Johns run, but I agree with Sean. I found Ace a compelling character in this story. Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. No.
Cole says, what issue was Ace suffering under? What he should have been, especially in whole issue, was Ace suffering under what he should have been, especially in the Dark Side Nightmare sequence. Yeah. And again, it's like, who the fuck is Ace? I don't know. I can relate to his problem, though. I can relate to his problem. That's all you need for character. Relatability, drama, propulsion. Come on. That's all we're seeing. This is an excellent week for comics because these comic book stories are being told in the right way. They're fun to read. They're quality. It's not just schlock. What's up?
Comic book history says, wasn't it cool seeing Superman just being a guy, not a family man?
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Yeah. Doing his little super heroics, doing whatever. It's cool.
You could be both.
I think, yeah, I think it's like we never see this, so it's good that we got to see it. I think that's kind of what he was putting down.
Just chilling in a jet that he could obviously fly faster than. Yeah.
Yeah, for like the sake of appearances.
But that was sick though. When Ace was, I think it was Ace. I don't fucking know. When he was
Yeah,
climbing
it
the
was.
rocks
Yeah.
and Superman's just kind of like hovering around him, and Ace is like, "All right, dude, you could pick me up. It's all right."
Yeah, what are the social implications there? I was looking at that. I was reading it because I'm like, why doesn't Superman just pick him up? And they address it. But I'm like,
Yeah.
does Superman wait for people to give him permission? Does he offer it? Like, what's the Superman etiquette there?
He was like, because he's like, I'll race you. Like, like what? What are you doing, dude?
yeah, just be a hokey, weird, like goofy dad joke guy. Yeah.
Just pick me up, bro. Like you're an alien. I'm not gonna take it personally. It's not like you're like, it's okay. Just pick me up. I don't want to waste my time.
Uppy. Yeah, that's what I would say.
All right. Let's leave the DC sphere and talk about G.I. Joe #2. This is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Riley, colors by Jordi Belair, and letters by Russ Wooten. So, last issue left us in a situation where the Joes were they were in dire straits. And this issue really picks up right from that place where, the Cobra side is winning this war, this battle. Things don't even really turn around until the Baroness joins the fray, and she kind of turns the tide in the favor of our heroes. But man, they got their shit rocked. And then they have the Cobra mommies here.
Yo,
who-
the code.
Speaking of uppies,
They're the cleanup crew. They're the ones who go to the battlefield and kill everybody who's alive but injured. So I thought that was a little bit cute.
that was cute.
Oh yeah, I mean look at them.
It's committing a little bit
what
more.
word do you think is
Little
Yeah.
war crime here and there. That's fine. It's like those videos on Twitter I accidentally see of Russian war crimes.
Yeah, bro. Listen, just
They
take a
do
look
look-
at them.
Except
looking
hot.
good.
You could commit any kind of war crime you want on me if you're gonna look like this.
Could be cheeked up like that.
Hey, we didn't see them from the back, bro.
Only one way those thighs work.
Sean's like, if you're caked up, waterboard me. It's fine. We're cool.
Oh, listen, yeah, absolutely.
If you're stacked, put those bamboo shoots in my fingernails. That's fine.
I was more interested in the waterboarding. Yeah, and so I would say the majority of this issue is the battle, and then it's the licking of the wounds. These characters are bruised up, burned up because the opposition has these crazy energon guns, which is really cool. And yeah, there's a lot of talking in the later half of the book as characters kind of figure out, okay, here's where we're going next. I still think GI Joe is excellent. I enjoyed this issue quite a bit, and the last issue leaves us with a pretty compelling cliffhanger. How about you guys?
Yeah, this is all around fun. Um, Action, I think the allusion to like espionage from the future, because obviously we get, I think, Rock and Rose like now in Cobra Base. Um, we have the characters who are like, obviously they're upset, they're distressed. We have wounded. Like it feels like there's consequence to these things, which is cool to see. Like you're gonna see that in an army book, and I'm a fan of war stories, and this is so far 2 issues in, one of the I think the standouts for me. Like I want to see more of these interactions. I want to see like the military stuff. I want to see where it all plays out, and I like that. Uh, Duke and Destro and Cobra all here. Like it's fun to see them interact and plan against each other. So yeah, I'm full pedal to the metal on this one. Now we got this new guy named Risk. Like, what is that? Introduced to the mix into the dynamic. I Yeah, I'm really enjoying this book so far, and it's only 2 issues in, so that means there's only for me up and forward propulsion from here.
If Risk is that new character created for the book, I believe, right? Yeah,
Oh,
the
sick.
Williamson
Okay, boom.
creation. I dug this. I thought this was a lot of fun. I liked how it was almost like the Suicide Squad opening a bit, issue one
Mhm.
and into this, where it's like, hey, here's this team that's all over marketing. They're fucked up. That's not your actual team. Well, you'll see who the team is down the line. Um, I enjoyed that. It added stakes to the book that I think is necessary because GI Joe, even though it's super sci-fi heavy and it's goofy, it's Saturday morning cartoon show. These are real people. They're not superhumans. So showing that there are real life consequences to what's going on here is important. Like those Cobra dominatrix mommies, killing people that are injured, was like, whoa, they're going there for this. Those would just be lasers on a kids show. No, like they're this is real in this. Um, I enjoyed it. I like how it's still spinning in a little bit of the greater Energon universe too. That one panel that Riley draws with Cobra thinking about Megatron, and you can see Megatron in the background. I thought was great. The use of like the red as like a filter for it all. It was really interesting. And I like how this book is playing both sides. We're not getting G.I. Joe and their response to Cobra. We're also getting Cobra and their response to G.I. Joe. So I think that's hard to do because you're essentially doing two team books in one book. And I think Williamson and Riley are doing a really good job with that, which would be tricky in most cases.
I completely agree. I think this book would be inferior if it only focused on the actual like Joes. I
Agreed.
like the fact that we do get Destro, Cobra Commander, and others. And also you don't have to pay another 3.99 to see the other side of the war of the battle. I think there's something to be said about okay, here are the good guys and here's their situation. But also here's what the bad guys are up to and giving them ample time so that we can learn more about who they are. And I think if you're a Joe fan, it's not like you had to watch a separate Cobra show to see the Cobra guys. Everybody was there.
And I find the dichotomy between Cobra and Destro is real interesting. We get that in this. Sure, we got it in the miniseries too. Destro had his own book, Cobra had his own book. But it really kind of shows that tension here. And it just feels like they're building up a tower or a line of dominoes and eventually going to fall.
Yeah, totally. And James Jones makes an excellent point. GI Joe has stakes. Bad guys can actually hurt good guys. The first issue proved that. in a very Transformers-esque way, the way they dealt with Bumblebee early on in that
Yeah.
series. Just to make us feel like, okay, shit can happen here. I will say, I enjoy this issue. I think Tom Riley's great. Tom's art is fantastic. Uh, you know, all that. But, but I if it weren't for this show, I might not be reading Transformers. And I worry that I might end up in a similar place with GI Joe. There's more intrigue here because there's stuff happening under the surface. The Cobra guys have these crazy guns, and they've got they want to get Transformers involved. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen. But if it ends up feeling just more like, all right, they're gonna battle every issue and hit the same emotional beats every issue, I'll be out. But so far, I think this has been really strong.
I see that. I like agreed for at the very least Transformers. I'm gonna see how far I get with this one because it has the trappings that I like right now. I do think that we're gonna get more like strategy bits, and we're gonna get action moments, not necessarily between the two teams every issue. Hopefully they learn that lesson from something like a Transformers. I'm a little more bullish on that for this book because the you have so many years of storytelling around that I'm sure that you have to think about ways to reinvent that wheel a little bit. So we'll see 3 4 issues from now.
Pull for me.
Same.
Yep.
Yep.
Damn, everything has just been. I guessed right on everything, but Challengers of the Unknown. Sean, for some reason, I thought you were not gonna like that. You were gonna
Wait, are
pass
you
on that one.
gambling with yourself?
I answer it
Oh.
ahead of time, and then I see who if I'm right or not.
Huh.
So are you doing that after you read the book?
I'm doing it after I read the book. Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
Okay, so you thought I wouldn't like challengers. That's interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you didn't think too well then.
One off. It's only one wrong.
Well, we still have more show to do. So we don't know how that's going to net out, my friend. As far as the GI Joe of it all, 60% of you said pull, 36% said didn't buy or read. Pick of the week was only 3% of you, and nobody passed.
Damn.
So
Yo, people are sleeping on GI Joe.
It doesn't look like people are sleeping because everyone is reading it apparently.
And
36% said didn't buy/read. So I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I misread that then. Yeah.
it's a third.
That's a third, but it's still pretty good for a
Uh,
GI Joe book.
Last Young Renegade says, would you guys like Transformers and G.I. Joe more if it was limited as opposed to ongoing? I think for me, G.I. Joe, I'm very happy with. Transformers just ran its course. I'm not even saying it's a bad book. I think the more recent issues have been better than I was feeling about it for a while. But it just kind of ran its course with me. Like, I just don't care as much about what's happening there.
The
I've been waiting
plight.
fucking years already. It's been like what, a year, and we haven't seen Megatron. Like I'm glad that they're milking it and they're getting good stuff out of it. I don't need a long form Transformers series, so I just want to see Megatron.
They're literally milking Megatron in this book.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah, actually.
They got him hooked
Oh,
up to one
and
of those Jordan Peterson milking machines, you know?
Oh my god.
I looking back at the book, flipping back through, Clutch is the one that is now in Cobra Command, and Sergeant Craig McConnell, that is Rock and Roll, actually did die. So there you go.
Did you say he is in the clutches of Cobra?
He's trying to break out.
Sean, I thought of that joke and I stopped myself. So that shows you what the level of that pun was.
I know you stopped yourself. I
Yeah,
know, but I still needed to get that out.
Fair,
I had
fair.
to. Chris Lister, what do you think of Void Rivals? I think Void Rivals is pretty good. It's fun.
I think I need to read more of it, and it is at the bottom of my stack, but I will get to it.
Lucas Allner says Megatron is strapped to a milking table. Yeah.
Pumped.
Oh my god. Yep. Hell yeah. Just like IDW has strapped the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to a milking
Hey yo.
table.
Do you guys know what a milking table? Okay, never mind.
I don't know. I just assume, it's getting milked.
Oh, it is.
TMNT number 5 was the book that you guys chose to be our poll winner this week. You guys really wanted us to talk about TMNT. Now, I put out the poll and I put out a poll featuring only indie books to see what would happen. And it turns out it was our least voted in poll in ages
What? Who
at
would have thunk it?
275 votes. So I don't know, guys. I put the challenge out. You didn't succeed. That's data for me. For me, that's data. I take that as a lesson learned. I won't do that again.
Oh no, the listeners are the problem. The readers, you comics readers.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Well,
Stop telling me to read. Stop telling me to put indie books in the show if you guys are not going to vote.
it's called the vocal minority at that point.
Yes.
Tilo would like to make sure that you know that he voted. He did his part. Thank you.
Thank you, Tilo.
Cole as
Appreciate
well.
you.
To be
Thank
fair,
you,
it was a
Cole.
close poll. It was pretty close between Rockefellers, and it was only like a 2% difference. So there was some. I had to call the poll and let everyone know because it was not a clear. It wasn't the book club poll with East and West.
Right. It wasn't a blowout. So we do have the new poll, which is featuring considerably less indie comics. I'm just fucking with you guys, by the way. I hope you know that. Exceptional X-Men number 4, sitting at 18% of the vote right now. Amazing Spider-Man number 64 at 5%. You guys are hating that book too. Jeez. Hornsby and Halo with 20% of the vote, and Superman 21. 56% of the vote. It's a blowout at the moment, but it doesn't have to stay that way because if you go vote, things can change. That is the way the world works.
Oh, the Superman issue is a dating issue between Superman and Superwoman.
Ooh.
I want that.
Something tells me that's not going to go very well.
Well,
Somebody's going to crash that party.
damn. On the moon? Damn, dude.
Lucas Hallner says, Sean, it's not your fault. People don't have taste. Well,
Lucas said it, not us.
right.
Many people are saying.
Exactly.
Little
Yeah,
song.
Lucas is saying it. I'm not saying it. He's saying it.
Many people are saying.
I would never
Other
say
people-
Kim Jong Un is a fat man. I would never say such a thing.
Oh, my God. Last Young Renegade says, keep the indies in there, please, even if it's just to hear Cale rant about Jason Aaron. Well, unfortunately, Cale isn't here today to rant about Jason Aaron, but I am. TMNT number 5, written by the aforementioned Jason Aaron, pencils by Derek Robertson, inks by Derek Robertson and Norm Rappand, colors by Tony Avina, letters by Sean Lee. So, of course, the cover features Casey Jones, who is I always thought of Casey Jones as like the Wolverine or the Gambit or the Green Ranger of
Sure.
the Turtles. And so therefore I never liked him that much. I was always like the guy who didn't really love that Renegade character. And I hated it when I was a kid in the first movie when he was putting the moves on April O'Neil. That shit used to burn my ass. I was like, either you get with Leo or you stay alone or get with me. And that's me as an 8-year-old, I hated that she liked Casey Jones. Nevertheless, this issue is essentially turtleless. It follows mostly the mayor guy, the district attorney, excuse me, as he is trying to become the mayor. And it shows us how he became so anti-mutant. And it gives us his journey. And then it all leads into a confrontation between him and Casey Jones. How did you guys feel about this issue of TMNT?
I think this book did something really smart. So TMNT is got its ties and its origin tied into Daredevil, Frank Miller's Daredevil. So Jason Aaron was pretty much just like, hey, why don't I give the Ninja Turtles their own Kingpin? And that's what this book is. It sets up this new DA, Hieronymus Hale, as the Kingpin of New York, to play on the Turtles as Daredevil. It's simple, stupid, but I think it's a really damn good issue. It plays on like themes of like typical, villain who was a nobody. If you liked the Penguin show on Max, I think you'd like this issue too. It kind of has similar themes and tone as that. And I really enjoyed it. I thought the Derek Robertson art is phenomenal. If the chat's not familiar, that's the artist of The Boys, that show that actually was a comic book. And it kind of has that. Robertson has a gross feel to his art. Everything just seems a little off. Everyone's a
Yeah.
little gross to look at. But I think it's a perfect choice for this essentially one shot. I was really surprised with this. I think I'm in on this Ninja Turtles series. Like when the first issue came out, I was like, I'm not really into it. But every progressing issue, as Jason Aaron kind of plants his feet into what this book is going to be, I'm more and more into it. And we're not even at the main Juan Ferreira, hit the ground running storyline yet. This was a really good job, especially as like a guy who has Daredevil in my veins. I saw a lot of that in this book, more than I'm seeing in Daredevil, actually. I'm enjoying this.
Hard agree. This was contender for pick of the week for me. I think to everything that you're saying, Tyler, and it also, I think what I thought was really effective was seeing him go to the extents that he does, and seeing how truly there was a moment where he's offered like this mace, and to kill a mutant. He doesn't know whether or not it was the individ like the actual person who, or mutant that killed his family. He's assuming as well. So it just played into this level of hate for him. And just as he was about to, throw it, he gets stopped, or like attack. He was gonna get stopped. Like, cool, okay, I see the purpose of that. But then I love the double down that Aaron does. He not only he makes him go and find the same person, the same mutant, to really send home the point, not only for us the reader, but even for this character, for himself. So I thought that was so well done, and it made me feel, and then it made me feel for him initially, and then made me like, nah, this is a guy to hate. This is a piece of shit. Like, cool, we're there.
And he's also beating up this mutant that looks like those little Critter Kids books. If you're familiar with those children's books, like this guy looks harmless. He's almost a cute little guy. And this guy just viciously beats him. Let's get the Boys artist for that too. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Jay Sage with the £4.99 euro. Living in England, can't always catch these live, but I'm off this week. Can't stress how much I enjoy this channel. New Gods was great, but I wanted more. Well, thank you so much, Jay Sage, for the contribution, for the love. Really appreciate that you would spend your time with us. I know it's late over there, so you're up late hanging out with us. Really appreciate that. And I also wanted to call out this comment real quick from Atomic Count, who says, by the way, if you're here and not on the Pals Discord, you're missing at least half of what goes on around here. We talk comics 24/7 across the planet. Got to agree with that. I really love to see so many of you on our Discord. We've got like over 300 people, and it's a vibrant community. So come hang out with us if you're a user of Discord, or you like the community aspect of this podcast. Join the Discord. It's fun.
And if you're not, we have a lot of people who like join Discord for our Discord. It's a pretty straightforward platform to use. I know some people have been intimidated, or at least admitted to being intimidated by it. It's super easy. You'll figure it out.
Agreed. As to this issue, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I think everything you guys said is on point. I really like the Casey Jones confrontation. I thought that was well done. Casey Jones is like that real ally. Like he's not just he doesn't have Twitter fingers. He has hands for racists. That's what's up. Like I always hated Casey Jones. Now I'm like, oh, you're a true ally. I fuck with you. I didn't see him like that. I didn't realize that's the role he was cast in back then.
Now he's going to those marches,
He's going to them marches with hockey sticks and bats.
And probably some milk too. Just be ready. for the pepper
Oh
spray.
yeah,
For the
yeah,
pepper
for
spray.
the yeah.
I appreciated that. But there were two things that bothered me. One was that I thought sometimes the dialogue was just not good. Just felt
Mm.
like I just felt like he could do better. Jason could.
Is there a particular point?
I'm as I'm looking through it, I'm trying to see if there's anything that stands out. But I just felt like there were some weaker lines of dialogue. Like I really didn't care for this opening um soliloquy that explains who this guy is, who Hale is. I don't know. I didn't love the way it was written. And then I also had a problem with the fact that when he goes to kill the mutant, they stop him from doing it. I really would have preferred it. And again, it's all preference. I'm not saying it was a wrong decision. It worked for you two. But I would have preferred it if he did have a moment of extreme weakness, killed that mutant, felt awful about it, was recorded, and then had to carry out these awful deeds against mutants after he killed one and realizes, wow, that wasn't cool. That was wrong to do. I almost didn't like the fact that he doubled down later because I don't understand what drove him to do that.
I thought it was calculated. I thought it was like, hey, I don't want this Kaya Kanai, whatever her name is, to have
Karai.
something over my head. Now that I know who this mutant is, I'll do it myself later on when they don't know.
But
It,
she
it,
stopped him.
sure, but he faked that like, oh no, you stopped me from doing something I wouldn't have done. Thank God, you know. I think he's
How
almost
do you know
He says that, doesn't he? Like,
Yeah,
that he
you,
yeah.
faked it?
well, I think he's faking it because he goes and kills him later. You know, on an offsite location, with only his crew being there for it.
I I didn't see that as him faking it initially, as much as him doubling down on like, actually, yeah, that's who I am.
Yeah, for me, it showed that he's actually a monster. He's
Right.
not sympathetic.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't necessarily think that he was like faking that in that initial instance or that initial sequence, and then like decide to finish the job. Yeah, I thought it was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm committed to like hating these people, and now I'm gonna make true on that promise for me.
Right. Like he's okay, he's under the control of Karai and the foot. Okay, cool. All they had was a video of him about to kill somebody. Like is that footage worth the
Enough.
hell that he's putting this place through to then just go on to kill the guy later anyway? Like, damn, you're a piece of shit.
Is
But
that
also, yeah.
admissible in court?
I mean, he also had his police crew throwing ninja stars at people. So I think
Word.
we got to have some, you know, we got to lower our realistic expectations here, I guess.
Yo, the Ninja NYPD.
Damn, yeah. The one thing that I want to talk about too, and I think it was also Chris Burnham did it in the previous issue, was Chris Burnham and Derek Robertson kind of have an Eastman-esque art style. There was that one page where it's like the one page where Casey Jones fighting the Foot Clan. And he's like jumping out. I thought that was Eastman for a second. I was like, oh, this feels like classic Ninja Turtles. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is Robertson was kind of aping it, I think, for this almost like an homage page. I loved it. I thought it was great. And I think it's a smart move to put Robertson and Burnham in it. Because like as much as I like Cliff Chang, it's very different for the art style. Same with Joel Jones. I think these two artists are more akin to what I want in a Ninja Turtles book.
My favorite moment in this book was when we got to see Bebop and Rocksteady.
I
That was
love those
sick.
dudes. I don't know anything about
Yo,
them. They are so cool looking.
hell yeah, bro. Oh my God. Excellent artwork by Derek Robertson. Like, I never read The Boys. I've seen his art somewhere else, not The Boys, like in the pages of a book. I can't remember what book it was.
Transmetropolitan's the other one he did.
Okay, yeah, I did read some of that, so it could be. But in any event, like this was tremendous artwork. I think if he were the main series artist on this book, I'm way hyped for Juan Ferreira. I can't wait for him to start, and I think that's gonna be a banger. But if it wasn't Juan, and you told me it was gonna be Derek, okay, bring it on.
Yeah, him, Chris Burnham. They have these thick lines. Things feel a little gross.
Sure.
I feel like the shading and using lines to denote, depth of that is really cool. I love the art on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna pull. It wasn't my favorite issue of TMNT. I think the next one's gonna be my favorite issue of TMNT. Um, this was an effective issue at giving us an idea of who their enemy is, as Tyler said. Know your enemy. It's important for us to know who he is. Otherwise, we're not going to give a damn. And so they got everything across they needed to get across, and it looked great. I personally just didn't love the dialogue at times.
At some point, this was my pick of the week. Batman
Yep.
beat it out, but I really like this issue.
Same.
What was I meant to ask you guys this earlier. What was the order that you read your books in this week? Do you remember? Like, what did you read first?
I read Ultimate Spider-Man first because spoilers were abound online, and I kept reading
Ah,
about people talking about spoilers without seeing what the spoiler was. So I'm like, I got to get out of my system. I got to read this book.
I
And that's
also read.
usually how I read comics. If I see scuttlebutt on Twitter or something about spoilers, I find that book and read it immediately.
Yeah, I also read Ultimate Spider-Man first. That, then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, ooh, New Gods Batman Challengers.
my philosophy since I'm a kid is start from the bottom, which is like whatever I'm least excited about, and then work my way up. So I read G.I. Joe first,
Oh,
um, and then TMNT, then Challengers, then Ultimate Spider-Man, New Gods, and Batman. That was the order I went in.
that's how I eat my food. You know, like when you eat a brownie, you save that corner bit for last.
No, dude, I'm eating that shit first.
We do things differently.
Let's see what the chat has to say. I put the poll up late, so we'll let that marinate. Make sure you guys vote. But meanwhile, what are you guys saying? Let's see. Jay Sage says, you guys have convinced me to check out Challengers of the Unknown. I really think you guys should catch up on the PKJ Hulk run.
Sean's reading that one.
Me too.
I'm a few issues behind on that. No particular reason. I was loving it as you know as I was reading it. I just kind of fell behind for whatever reason, but I will be catching up. It is great.
Last Young
Um,
Renegade says, haven't read the issue, but that cover is powerful. Yeah, that A cover is good.
Yeah, it's cool. And it feels like it leans into it like goes right into the story, the cover, and then we're met with like the columns. I don't know if that was like purposeful, but I like that continuity of the cover and like the whatever's on the mask,
Like a Jason
leading to
mask,
that
yeah.
first panel.
uh, we also got a question from Lucas Hallner who says, "Did the pals read TVA #1? It's a spin-off from the Loki show." No, I did not.
Didn't read it, but I did pick it up, so I will be checking it out. It's got a Gambit is in it, Spider Ghost is in it. Are we sticking with that, Marvel?
Spider Ghost,
Is that what she is officially?
Ghost
Isn't it Ghost Spider?
Oops. Shows how much it's sticking.
Atomic Hound says, anybody else still reading Batman 89? No, I gave up.
Same.
Yeah, I gave up at like issue 2. It just wasn't my jam.
I loved it, but it's like how long are we gonna do this? Like I thought it was real fun, but I don't know, I get tired of stuff quickly, I guess. I don't know.
It depends what it is, like it has to like really enrapture, I feel like, in order to maintain.
Yeah. Well, there is only one book left for us to review. Absolute Batman and Ultimate Spider-Man are #1 and #2 bestsellers of the year. And so we are bookending this show book review wise, with those two. We also have the Superman movie trailer reactions coming a little bit later. Ultimate Spider-Man #12, I would say of all these books, it's the one that has the internet the most ablaze, with good reason, I think. Written by Jonathan Hickman, with art by Marco Cicchetto. Yes, he is back. Yes, he is on this issue at least. We'll see how
Yeah,
things are
I
going
thought
to
the
look
cover was lying to
in
me again.
Yeah, the cover has nothing to do with the interior. Corey Pettit on the letters, colors by Matthew Wilson the Great. This issue is framed around a holiday party at the Parkers. They have invited their family and J. Jonah Jameson
Yeah.
to partake. The kids are here. We do get the kids. We haven't seen them since a birthday party, maybe 5 issues ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And basically, we're just dealing with the trauma of Mary Jane's family largely throughout this. She's got problems with her mom, who, by the way, I don't want to talk about anything before I talk about Mary Jane's mother,
Uh-oh.
Mrs. Watson.
Oh God.
Oh my God. She is a white-haired beauty. I see where the looks came from, Mama Watson.
Damn, yo, Sean likes some stern, bro. Put him in his place.
That grandma was working it. She was working all of it. That woman had two beautiful children, but she didn't give them looks away. She retained them gracefully. She aged.
I'm spraining right now. Bad.
Yeah.
I
Bad,
can't.
Sean. Bad.
Bro. Oh my God, she was the standout. Anyway, um, there was that. There was the beef between MJ and her sister, who is, returned after many years of not partaking in the family events. And playing in the background of all of this is a phone call that Gwen Stacy keeps sending out to Mary Jane, and Mary Jane's daughter is playing with the phone. So Mary Jane's just like, oh, I'm busy. Who cares? Gwen Stacy's calling. No big deal. And then she finally answers the phone, and it's Gwen Stacy asking if Mary Jane knows where Harry Osborn is, because she hasn't seen him in days. He's been gone for 6 days or something. And MJ goes to ask Peter, hey, do you happen to know where Harry's at? And she pokes him, and there's this weird, like, her finger almost goes into him, and this blackness comes off. And then the blackness almost comes off his body and goes towards her, and she's horrified, and he turns around, and Peter's got black eyes. And in that, like, AI Venomy voice that we saw much earlier in the series, he says, Merry Christmas. And we get to the epilogue. And we find out where the real Peter and Harry Osborn are. They've been fucking kidnapped by Craven, the hunter. I know I just did it all in one shot because I think we have to talk about this issue in totality. I am very curious to hear what you guys have to say, but I say this was the best issue of Ultimate Spider-Man in at least half of the run.
It's the one that the most things happened. Like
It's the
things
one
of-
that something happened in.
yeah, like of consequence. Uh, the drama of all that stuff aside, once I hit that last page where happiness is the people that you're close to, I thought that was the end of the issue. I'm like, what was that, dude? What did a grumpy old Christmas thing? I don't care to listen to that. And then, oh, she's calling again. What? Oh, pick up. Okay, Peter. Oh shit! What? Okay, all right. I had to sit down for a second. All right, I talk shit. Fine, you called me out on it. Um, but then my mind went to logic of like, wait, hold on a second. She just had to poke him. They don't do little bedtime kiss. They don't cuddle. She don't get up all like nice and warm. They're trying to fuck like every other issue. She don't notice all of a sudden something a little bit different. And I was like, all right, leave it alone. Leave it alone. We'll see where it goes.
I was just happy to see actually something happen in this. I think Chichetto does great work. I think Chichetto does better work when there's action involved. So I was a little like, all right, he's drawing good-looking people for the first most of this book, doing normal people stuff, which is good. It's good, but I feel like it's a waste of Chichetto. And I was like, all right, fine. But then there's a little twist at the end where I was like, oh, thank God. Finally, something happens that we'll jump to a month later and not have a resolution for properly with issue 13. I thought it was a good issue, but looking at it from a macro lens, I'm still a little annoyed at the series. This was not enough to right the ship for me. This was a peak in the right direction because I found it interesting. Actually using Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery here, using the family, which was, you know, what was how it was pitched to us, this whole series. But they need to continue this momentum because it's been at a halt since then. This is finally picking back up after the car broke down for me. So it's going in the right direction, and I think it was good, but it needs to keep going in this direction.
Listen, man, this issue had everything that I come to comics for. I'm not even joking. Drama, okay? Drama. Character drama. Women, hot, attractive characters. All right? 3 generations. Well, no, excuse me. That's not what I meant to say. 2 generations of baddies. All right? Mother and sisters. Intrigue. Because there clearly is something happening in the margins of this issue. Like, what is this phone call gonna result in? You know it's gonna be bad. I wasn't sure if like she was gonna say, you know, like Harry's dead or you know, Harry's gone crazy. Like it could have been anything, right? Didn't know. And I also have to give credit to the creative team for the fact that they held and hid the Peter reveal because Peter doesn't factor in this issue at all. He doesn't really say anything. And you're kind of like, what's up with this? And then even I think it might be Aunt Anna, I'm not sure who it was, but someone says, "Oh, what's up with Peter? Like he's kind of, you know, what's going on here?" And but you don't really think about it. And then you get to the end and it's like, "Yo, what the hell? They paid that off." So I really found a lot to like here. I thought the dialogue was snappy, man. Damn, Hickman is a beast. He wrote the shit out of this family drama. It felt real.
The bits between Mary Jane and her sister were really, really good. You know, her sister was like shitting on Peter. She's like, you could do better than that. And now that her life's in a different spot, she realizes maybe she was wrong. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I think
Rolled my eyes so hard at that.
I like Chichetto, but I do think his skills aren't the best used in a situation like that. Everyone kind of looked the same. Not that they looked similar to each other, but they looked good in each thing, you know? But they were kind of doing the same thing. There was no real dynasticism between panels for me in those arguments. Yeah, they look good, but all of them are straight-faced the entire time.
It's beautiful.
No emotion for Sean, just hot redheads.
Yes, and white-haired women.
Bro, you read this book with the wrong head, I think.
Bro, I was fully activated. I was locked in. Both my brain was locked in.
Damn,
he's
definitely showing brain. Yeah, so like Chichetto really works when like during, I think of Devil's Reign and Daredevil. There was full on fights with Armadillo and shit. You know, like that's where Chichetto can like really cook. And to see like Chichetto's back, but it's gonna be talking heads that'll look the same was kind of a bummer for me. A bit of a monkey's paw situation. It's like, hey, you want Chichetto back? Here you go. Nothing happens.
Man, I hear you, bro. I hear it, and maybe you would have enjoyed this issue more if you weren't sour on the rest of the series.
Very possible. Yeah, I hold a bit of a grudge to this book, to be honest.
I get it. I feel like every time we review it, it's always like, all right, yeah, this issue was solid, but
yeah, like the craft is there, but it's holding back, I feel.
This was almost my pick of the week. I got to that Peter page and I was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?"
Yeah, I bet you got to a Peter page, that's for sure.
Damn.
Whoa. And then the epilogue just was like, "Oh my god." Like, think about Craven. Think about how lame he's been over the years and how cool and dangerous he came across. He got Peter and Harry by himself. Well, we don't know that it was by himself, but like he has them. I want to see that. But even without seeing it, it's like, oh, they're in trouble. He's no joke.
Man, Craven can't even draw 10 million. He's not a draw for me in this book.
Damn. All right. Well, this was the other book that could have been pick of the week for me. I was this close, for all the aforementioned reasons. So this is a double flagger. I absolutely adored this comic book. I thought it was tremendous.
Did you see the Patrick Gleason variant? I have it up on the screen.
I didn't.
It is gorgeous.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah. Wow.
Gleason's been selling his own variants on his own website, which is great for him.
Sick. Do it.
Ultimate Spider-Man does have really, really good variants usually. And usually they revolve around Mary Jane, which I get it.
Next week, Gavin Guidry's, or next month, Gavin Guidry's variant.
Yep, we already have people who ordered it in the chat.
Hell yeah.
I am excited. Is that an incentive variant, Gavin, or is that like
No, it's just a regular. It's just
Okay.
an alternative. Man, you were that close to pick of the week. I was that close to a pass. If that was all that this issue was, dude, I didn't care for the drama. I didn't care for the conversation. But had it not been for the little reveal at the end, I'm like, oh, now I'm about to drop it.
I wouldn't go so far as a pass, but I would have been frustrated because like it's like I think there's good character work here and there's some good arguing. But God, it's Ultimate Spider-Man. Give me something.
I saw speculation. This was by a random person, so it's not like an insider or anything like
Got
that.
to be true though.
Well, I just thought it was interesting to bring to the table that this person suggests that maybe if you think about Ultimate Universe 1 year in last week, we learned, or whatever week that was, we learned that there are agents of hand embedded inside of, these groups and things like that. So this person suggested, what if MJ's sister is actually an agent who's infiltrating the family in order to be around and see what's going on?
Huh. Okay.
I can see that. Yeah.
I like that. J. Jonah Jameson?
Nah, I don't think so. I think JJ's more likely to be dead than betray. Let's see. Absolute Overthinker says, I find Jay Jonah's conversation with the young people kind of bizarre. I don't know, something wrong rubs me the wrong way with this series. It bores me every week. I mean, we criticize Ultimate Black Panther, but this is quite close in a slow-moving, non-confrontational type of story. I would say that Jonathan Hickman and either Chiquetto or David, who's the other villain? Who's the villain on this?
Messina.
Messina, thank you. I think they get more grace than Brian Hale and Caselli do. Yes, I do think that. I absolutely think that.
Agree.
But when you have earned it creatively by putting out bangers, people are going to do that. And I think people are invested in liking this book. Make no mistake. As invested as I think people are in hating hating Amazing Spider-Man, I think there are people who are just as invested in liking this book, regardless of the quality of either series. I do believe that.
You think there's some Hickman heads out there that are blindly faithful?
I don't
Or you
even
think
know if
there's
it's
Ultimate
the
Spider-Man
Hickman
heads?
part. I think it's the Ultimate Spider-Man part.
Yeah,
I think they feel like, oh, this book validates all of our complaints about ASM, and I don't think that's true. I think both books had flaws, and there are valid criticisms of this comic. And if you don't think there are, then you are doing that thing.
I will say, in its current state, I do enjoy this more than Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
Although Zeb Wells' run I preferred over this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, 100%.
Agreed on that.
Let's see. What else? Gavin says, I'm hoping Marvel solicits are tomorrow, and then we can finally talk about what I'm doing next month. It could be tomorrow. Yeah.
Let's do it.
What else? William Lee. What's up, William Lee? Says, so are we reading this all in omnibus 5 years from now? Are we reading Ultimate Spider-Man in an omnibus form 5 years from now?
Mm, I don't
I don't
know.
know. I don't know.
I gotta really, really like something to reread it. There's one good thing about my brain is it's kind of a trap for books. I read a lot of books once, and I'll remember it, and I'll read it monthly. Uh, so I really gotta want to read something again, and I don't. This is not doing it for me.
Well, I think what he's saying is like, are we reading this all like all of the universe stuff, all of or maybe all of Spider-Man collected in omnibus in 5 years? Like, is it just gonna run its course for that amount of time and then close out? I mean, after the first
Yeah, we'll see.
year, we have how many months now? 10 months left. Who knows where that's out?
Oh, the solicits are already out, apparently. And according to Silhouette in the chat, he says Gavin is on Uncanny X-Men number 12.
Oh shit! Yo, damn,
I don't.
uncanny.
There's
Let's
no proof.
go.
I gotta see the proof to be able to know that.
I mean, we'll talk about solicits and stuff more on Saturday. So if that's out in the wild, then we will say our well, we've already talked about, we know what Gavin's talking about, and we've or at least I think I do, and we've congratulated him. So we'll verify and talk about that on Saturday.
Okay, yeah, it's out there. I
Okay,
just
cool.
gave
Yeah,
myself
congratulations, Gavin. That's sick as fuck. I cannot wait. Can't wait. It's gonna be amazing.
Hell yeah.
bit of a
Luna says, "Do you think this book is carried by the twist?" It depends on your sensibilities. Before the twist came, which again, you already knew that there was going to be something because of the Gwen phone call. So I don't think you can fully divorce that part from the core issue. But if you just say the issue ends after like the hug between sisters, I really loved it. I thought the dialogue was impeccable, the art was standout and great. I was having a ball with this comic book. That took it to another level. But clearly for Marco, that was the point that allowed him to make this a pull. So different strokes.
Yeah.
I'm going to end the poll here now and see what you guys had to say.
Wow.
45% of you poll, 20% said pick of the week. Pass was 17%, and didn't buy/read was 17% as well. Okay.
I'd like to know how many people picked pick of the week multiple times for a book.
Like after the
There's gotta
conversation, they're
be,
like, "Oh,
you know?
actually, I
Yeah.
changed my mind. Hold on a second."
Fair enough, dude. I double flag books all the time. Not that that means it's my pick of the week, but Uh, all right. So we know we always do the stack. We're gonna get to that. But before we get to that, we're going to take some time to talk about the Superman trailer that dropped today. Everybody I mean, Twitter's exploding with it, X, whatever. Our Discord exploded with chatter about this trailer. It is just taking over. DC, it's on the DC YouTube channel. It has 15 million views there. I don't know what the total view count is. I've seen numbers. I think I might have seen 40 million, 20 million somewhere.
Is
Damn.
that good? Like, I have no idea of what good is. I mean, sure, that's a lot, but like, that's good, right?
Shots press. Yeah, for
If
sure.
we're talking like relative to other
Sure,
movie
yeah.
trailers, oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's Craven at?
Oh please.
Oh, come on, come on.
Let's see. No, you know what? Official Red Band a year ago was at 30 million. And
That's
confirmed it's Sony Pictures, okay?
Yeah, we know how you are with trailers on YouTube.
Right,
Maybe not the
that's
most
right.
tech savvy there, Marco. Craven 2
look,
trailer.
so we've been waiting on this trailer for a long time to see what the feel of the James Gunn DCU would be, what this individual movie would feel like, what's David Cornswit going to come across as Superman. And the opening shot, the opening moment of the trailer, I don't remember who I saw say this. Props to this person. I did not come up with this. Is Superman in the fucking Yamcha pose?
Yeah, I've seen so much fan art of him as Yamcha. Yeah.
Fucking
Wait.
smoked by something.
That's so funny. Holy shit.
Yeah. Just down, just on, not even on his feet, on his ass, right? And then the trailer ends with him soaring. I think that is a perfect encapsulation of the trailer. I think that is what showed me that James Gunn understands the assignment here with this character, and every moment in between those two polar pillar moments is beautiful and excellent.
I will say this: I enjoyed the trailer. I'm going to start off with that. I thought it was a good trailer. I have some criticisms, but
Oh,
the bit that really like that clicked for me immediately was Superman in Yamcha pose in snow. I could assume near Fortress of Solitude. I'm going to guess that Superman's in snow. It's probably near there, and he whistles, and I'm like, I know exactly what that whistle is. Like as a comic book fan, that's a crypto whistle. And I'm seeing it now in film. Like the comic book nerd in me was like, holy shit. And then seeing Crypto run up and he's the goodest boy ever. Shit, that's the most millennial thing for me to say. Is, you know, he comes there and he's helping Superman. I was like, oh, this is what I've always wanted with a Superman anything. Like it felt like I had allusions to Morrison's All Star, which I haven't read, but I saw the movie. So I know people are going to call me out because I haven't read it yet, but oops. And a bit of Man of Steel, you know, Burns' Man of Steel, where it's seeing all these different snippets of who Superman is throughout this trailer and what he means and what the symbol means and what this world is. I thought it was really, really good job in setting a tone. That it made me excited for a movie that I was generally already excited for. But the tone of this was really expertly done.
it felt hopeful. It felt like there's a couple scenes with children, and he's saving one, and another one, a kid's kind of raising a flag. It feels like inspiration. I think that was also accentuated by the music. You know, they did the classic theme on an electric guitar,
Yep.
which I thought was really cool because that as a backdrop to all of the stuff that we're watching, you know, that feels classic, but it feels updated for the times. It's not across strings, and it's also not the, you know, like I don't need that shit in a Superman movie. I want to see, like, you know, I want that theme to permeate because I think that that helps as like a through line um for emotion. Like there's, I feel like maybe a bit of a blandness to just like the noise effects, and this as like a melodic theme, I think matches with what's going on. You know, there's a moment where he's holding a robot in the hand that feels compassionate, feels kind, and I like to see those elements in Superman. For me, this hit really high marks. I'm very excited for it. In contrast to like the moodiness or the like of Man of Steel, that is still iconic in my mind. But I can distinguish the tone because it also doesn't have that like that silhouette. What is it called? I'm forgetting what the actual term for it is, but I feel like for some reason I remember like a vignette kind of like around it.
Oh yeah, vignette. Yeah, you got the right word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something controversial. I know you guys are gonna get in my ass for this. I really like the Man of Steel trailers more. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Sean, I think the first Man of Steel trailer might be one of the best comic book trailers of all time. It sold me a lie, but I think it's a damn good trailer.
Yeah.
I like this trailer a lot. I think I might like the Man of Steel one a little more too. But yeah, keep going. I'm on your side with this.
I'm glad to hear that because I did not expect anyone to be on my side. But you know, this trailer it gives you the feel and the vibe that I think this movie will have, needed to have. It needs to present us a kinder, gentler Superman. It needs to present us a world that's vibrant and exciting and colorful. It needs to basically be the opposite of what Man of Steel was in almost every way, because that's what people want right now. They're not going to accept any less from Superman, and I don't think that they necessarily even should. We got glimpses at several characters who will factor into this movie. Gunn has been on record as saying these are not cameos; these are full-fledged characters who will, you know, have meaningful pieces to play. We know that Hawk Girl is in it. We saw a glimpse of her. She looked great. That was cool.
I'm glad to see her back in the spotlight after that failed cryptocurrency scam that she did. Nice to see.
Haha, that's
Nice to see her again.
I knew you were going with that.
We got a quick glimpse of Metamorpho.
Okay, seeing the normie take on like, oh, it's Brainiac on Twitter everywhere, like, oh, I'm like, oh, all right, this movie will fix it.
We saw Guy Gardner with his comics accurate shit hair.
Yo, that was so goofy.
People complaining about that are he's supposed to look like an idiot.
Yeah,
Even like
that's
Kevin McGuire is like, yeah, that's how I draw him. Like,
that's the gimmick.
yeah, and it's Nathan Fillion. He's gonna be an asshole.
Yeah, he'd be like a little dipshit.
I just feel like if you are one of the people who like likes Guy Gardner,
Reevaluate.
sorry.
Reevaluate.
Oh well,
your life.
yeah, fair point. But like, this is who he is, so I don't know. I don't get the complaints. I think he looked great. I think Nathan Fillion's going to do a great job. I always wanted to see him as Hal. I will accept this. You know, it is what it is. But we also saw Mister Terrific.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, am I excited. I'm excited for the character. I'm excited for that actor, you know, finally getting some redemption after playing fucking Prodigy in X-Men First Class and getting jobbed out.
Was he Darwin?
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Darwin, you're
Okay.
right.
Oh,
Sorry.
that guy.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And he looks sick. I really am happy that they're going with him. They're choosing him. You know what I'm saying?
BJ Comics Are Dope was complaining about his hair on Twitter. Somebody, I think it was Mike's Total Dragon channel, replied to BJ's tweet saying, "That is the hair of a guy who loves anime."
Yo, that's crazy.
I was like,
But I like the visuals of the costume. It feels like they're committing to the comic accuracy. Like Metamorpho looks like a deformed whatever, but sure, fine. But the Hawkgirl looks crazy cool. Like they're not going leaning in all the way on. I feel like the digital elements that they could. Some of it looks a little practical. The makeup looks great, and even on Mr. Terrific, I like that like face mask thing. I don't know what it is. I don't understand it. I love it.
it's like a domino mask except for his face.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, with his lips
I
and
mean-
stuff. But I don't know how that's gonna work.
Superman's holding a actual practical helix, you know? Like, this is comic books. This is the most comic booky DC movie trailer I've ever seen.
And I think that is the biggest feeling I came away from this trailer with. You know, it feels like a comic book. And in the comic books, this is what Superman stands for. You know, truth, justice, and the hope for a better tomorrow. And I think this trailer encapsulates those feelings. The comic book characters that we love look how they're supposed to look. You know, we saw Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult, he's bald, he looks angry, he looks entitled, he's got a business. Like, this is a world that is is vibrant and lived in already.
What do you think about it
Yeah.
being called Luthor Corps instead of Lex Corps?
I don't care. Whatever. Like, it's not comics accurate,
Sure, sure.
but you know, I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I have one gripe.
Yeah.
Getting the same director of photography as The Flash. I was talking to some friends about this. We were having a little chat about it, and I was like, why do the group shots feel like stock footage? It's the way it's shot, the way it's colored, and one of my friends said, "Oh, it looks like Sharknado footage." The group shots, there's like this contrast to it that is weird, and the color looks it looks overly digital. There's something about it that is turning me off on the way it's colored and some of the shots. I know some of the wide angle shots that you see with Superman in that cage, and I think Lex with the Agent 47, gun that he has. Those are wide angle shots. By the way, the view of them is a little skewed, so they're using a wide angle lens here at some points. But like the shot of Mr. Terrific, people are online are saying, "Oh, that looks like the Flash." I'm like, "Yeah, it's the same director of photography as the Flash. Why would you do that?" So like from a craft standpoint, there's some of it's like, something looks a little weird here. I'm in my head, it's a small gripe, but also I'm griping about the way the movie looks. So maybe that's not a small gripe. But something about it, I gotta see it more. I can't judge it fully based on a teaser trailer, but something like those reaction shots of like people in a building and stuff. The lighting on it, the color on it just seems too digital, where it feels uncanny valley to me.
I'm I don't see it. I'm sure it's there. It's there, but not enough to an extent that feel like I notice anything that would deter me to that degree.
Yeah, I personally didn't come away feeling any of that stuff. Maybe, I mean, you probably watched it on a deeper level. I don't know. I love the way it looks, and for me, the way the Flash looked wasn't the problem with the Flash, you know. So
Fair.
I don't know. That does like the director of photography being the same person doesn't immediately mean anything to me.
Same DP as the Suicide Squad too, which I think that washed outness of Suicide Squad worked for what that movie was and the tone of that movie and literally where it is. It's in like this like dirt road town where everything's gonna be a little washed out because everything's kind of dirty. It felt like there was color in this, yes, especially if you compare it to Man of Steel or Snyder stuff. But even the colors felt a little washed out if they weren't Superman's suit. Maybe that's to make him stand out more. I don't know. But something about it was off.
I did like the end moment where because we saw a kiss with Lois, and I like the end bit ends on a hug like that. That was a good positive note to kind of go out on. That was one that felt like love more so than romance, and one that gets pushed backwards into the rest of the trailer, if that makes sense.
Near has a comment on what Tyler's talking about. He says, "I'm used to and love the film look versus digital. I can see the colors being interesting, even though vibrant. The blues of Antarctica look nice though, and the sunshine of the Kent farm." Atomic Hound throws out, "Remember how exciting that Flash ad was during the Super Bowl? Having said that, I'm really excited for July 11th."
Do you remember that being exciting? The Flash movie
Mm,
trailer?
I do, yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I remember there being a lot of buzz around the Flash, very, very early on, and I remember people saying, "Oh my God, when the Super Bowl trailer hits, everybody's going to learn about Ezra Miller's crimes, and it's going to go crazy." And it's like, no, no, it's not. That didn't happen. No one cares. Like we cared, but look at what we do, and we're very online. But like the rest of the world doesn't give a shit. Look at who our fucking. Never mind. Um.
Uncanny
Anyway.
suit. I can't believe no one asked him what the S stands for. The people need to know. Not wrong. Nobody in that chat was like, "What?"
Oh man. Um, whoa, Gore Vidal. Gunn has never impressed me as a director. He is good at what he does, but his films, including the first Guardians of the Galaxy, bored me. It reminded me too much of Farscape and heavy metal film. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm on record. James Gunn doesn't really do it for me like that. I thought Guardians 1 was pretty good. I thought the second one was a bore fest, and I thought the third one was just really trying too hard to make me feel, and it bothered me how saccharine it was. Um, but I divorcing myself from it, it's very clear that James Gunn loves comics, A, and B, does things that people want to see and love. So I really can't think of a combination that would work better for a Superman director. Like that makes all the sense in the world to me. Will it be for me? I hope so, but that's a question of can James Gunn tone himself down? And maybe he won't. Maybe that's not what the movie needs. Maybe that's what people want. Maybe I'm in the wrong. But I am going into this with hope that it will be great because it needs to be great.
Sean, I loved your use of saccharine as an adjective right now.
Oh, thank you so much, Marco.
It's really good.
I appreciate that very much. Um Banksy Main says, "Feel, Sean, feel." Yeah, like, but I'm already gonna feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the rocket stuff in the third movie was very evocative, emotionally, but it was like every scene was begging you, was like trying to reach into your body and pull your heart out. Like, I don't always want that.
You want to feel, but you don't want to be forced to feel.
Right. Yeah. Like, you don't need to go hard with the music and the faces. Like, it just was a lot,
Like
bro.
if it's done right, I'm gonna feel and be sure in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But that's how I feel. And like I said, I am aware that a lot of other people feel differently, and that's totally cool. Um, let's hit a couple more comments before we do the
Yeah.
stack.
Comic book history says so. I guess the movie starts with a big monster. They take it out, and then they arrest Superman with help from U-Man. He's forced to work with the JSA, but I don't know where Lois and Lex fit. Maybe. Who knows?
You
Well,
man, who's that?
So when
Ultraman?
Superman gets tackled through that stadium, the
Yeah.
set is showed like has a U on a shirt. People are saying it's Ultraman. I have a feeling it's Man of Steel Bizarro. Is what it feels like a Lex creation. Maybe a play on that. Because
Oh,
Lex
sure.
has to be the big bad, but he can't be physically formidable. They're not going to do the Lex suit right away. So I feel like he might try and create another Superman, and it goes wrong. So it's a play on that early Bizarro stuff.
I see. Man, I don't know if I would like necessarily either of those things, but I think one of them has to be true. But I think it's far more likely that it's a Bizarro than an Ultraman. I don't think you use that character in this way.
Out the gate.
Yeah, it's very early.
Bizarro is an easy character to understand. He's bad Superman. But even though Ultraman is that as well, but you have it's the idea of multiverse that it goes into play. You cannot do that in your first DCU movie.
Bizarro would argue good Superman.
Bad point.
Well played. Well played. Gavin Gidry says, I loved Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I wasn't even going into it with a particular hype. Yeah. Like I said, it worked for a lot of people, and I do think it was a good movie. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for this. I think this is going to be great if the trailer's anything to go by. And like I said, rest assured, this movie needs to be great. It has to be.
What do you think of the kaiju in it? It's not a James Gunn movie unless there's a kaiju fight, right? Starro, all the Guardians monsters. I saw it on Twitter. I don't know. I can't attribute it to anyone. I don't remember the name, but somebody said that better be Jimmy Olsen.
The
Like
glowy thing. The wait, with the big kaiju or the
the
glowy
the
green
big
thing?
kaiju. Like it was Jimmy Olsen that like fucked up very Silver Age stuff, and it's a
Pretty
quick one
funny.
and done fight. That's the only
That'd
way
be
I'd be
cool.
like, all right, cool, cool.
Man, I don't know. Like, I'm so done with kaijus, bro. Like, other than
I'm
Godzilla, you know,
I'm kind of anti kaiju besides Godzilla as well. The
it's
comics are
just,
overdoing it too.
yeah, it's
Damn.
played the fuck out. Like, Godzilla minus one was the shit, but I mean, not everything needs to have that. Gosh,
That director's gonna do another Godzilla movie too, so I'm excited for that.
should do a superhero movie.
Ooh,
Gavin
great.
Guidry says superhero movies never have monsters. I love that we're getting them. Well, see, there you go. The dichotomy right there presented. So,
Yeah, I
all
kind
right. Go ahead, Marco.
I dig it. I like a good kaiju fight. It makes sense. The thing that I was trying to figure out was the green glowy like jellyfish looking thing in the back at the end. I'm like, what is that? I hope that's Jimmy Olsen.
I don't know. There's a lot of speculation about what's what, and like I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Like I just saw what you're talking about, Marco, and like I don't know what the fuck that is. But what I also don't know is why Superman is making time with his girl while there's some kind of crazy cataclysm happening outside his window.
Yo, priorities, Papa.
I hear it, bro. I hear it.
Come here, baby. One last one before we. Who knows what happens?
Luna says, I'd rather have a kaiju fight than Superman fighting a plane or another hero. Look, if I never again have to see Superman versus plane, I'm a-okay. Like, I'm done with shit like that, please. And versus another hero, well, stay tuned.
You know what? And I want to end it on Dan's comment. I have no interest in speculation. I'll find everything out when I see the movie.
There it is.
Fair enough.
Oh, follow ups. 16.
All right. Speaking of which, let's get into the stack here. You know how we close things out every single week. Sean's Stack is a segment we do because I buy a lot of comics every week, and I need to bring that number down. And on the last episode of Pals Pulls that we're going to do, which is next Thursday, um, I'm going to finalize my stack and cut and cull whatever I need to go into the new year with a proper stack. But today is not that day. So throw your numbers in the comments. Let us know what you think my number is. And if you are correct, if you're the closest without going over, you can get any of the codes for the Marvel books that I bought this week. Any of them at all. So let's see those numbers.
I will
Now,
know.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I will know Izzy did say 14 before you left. That was like a half hour ago. So I guess I'll start off with Izzy with 14. But everyone's put their numbers in already. People had it ready. Locked in the chamber. So Near, 15 for the stack. James Jones, 18 for the stacking. Rami Darwish, 17. Dan Trudeau, 17. Luna, 17. Marowak Oscuro, 19. Jedi Tai, 18 for the stack. Last Young Renegade, 16 for the stack. Venom Mark, 18. Absolute Overthinker, 18. Gavin with a 15. Uncanny Suit with a 19. Steve Canaris, 20. Atomic Count says 24 to match mine. Cole, 14. Comic Book History first says Joe Cale, and then says 21. Comic Book History actually changes that, goes to 17. So what with 30? Silhouette.
Oh
Big
my.
week, but 30.
Damn. No faith.
Banksy Main, 16. That's it.
Okay. So while the numbers continue to file in, I stepped away because I wanted to show you guys something. I actually waited for this week so that I could unbox my recent haul from Organic Priced Books,
Oh.
which did arrive finally.
Did you get to customer service and you put the pressure on them?
No, actually, I'm horrible at following up with shit like that. You guys know I still have a Comixology account, so I just waited, and my patience was rewarded because I did receive this box of comics.
Ooh,
Damn.
came organically.
Yes.
Maybe that 30
Is
was that 30 guess was right.
Are they still on the stem?
What does that mean?
Because they're organic? Never mind. That was a
Oh yeah.
fruit joke.
All right, so the first bad boy that I have to unveil.
Oh, yeah.
is-
Jesus Christ.
look at this Batman by Snyder and Capullo, Placencia. You know, the whole creative team. Look at this, man. Look at this spine. That's a thick boy.
Holy
I got that in my
shit.
living room, Sean. That's a good. I like how simple that spine is.
Yeah.
Just Batman
Yeah.
in white font. That's all it is.
Is that the entirety of Snyder's?
There's at
and
least 2
Capullo?
volumes of this.
Yeah, this is volume 1. This is the first volume of their omnibus. So I gotta get the second one. But that's not a part of my haul today. The other part of my haul today was actually inspired by something that we were doing last month. And it would have made a lot more sense last month for me to be unveiling this, but in any event, I have Animal Man by Grant
Oh
Morrison,
shit.
which I have never read.
Yeah, that's good.
So I decided to grab this. It was $30. So I said, you know what? Let me make sure I grab that. And I can't wait to dive in. This is Grant Morrison and a bunch of other artists credited. Chaz Truog, Doug Hazelwood, Tom Grummett, Paris Cullens, Steve Minato, Mark McKenna, and Mark Farmer. The only name I recognize is Mark Farmer. That's crazy. But yeah, that's it. I'm pretty excited.
That's pretty hype, dude. That I feel like is a good selection of books. Animal Man, you're gonna enjoy.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I have a fucking list of books like a mile long that I want to grab because I realize like, damn, there's so much shit I still haven't read, and I got to get on the horse. I'm halfway through my life, maybe, and actually, I might be even further along the path than I'm aware of because you never know when they're gonna call your number. So that means for me that I need to read every comic that excites me as often as I can because I might die, and who wants that? I don't want to die with comics unread.
Swamp Thing next.
That might kill him. Actually, that might be what takes him over.
Oh man, yeah. So all right, just wanted to show that off real quick. I'm very excited. Either of you get anything recently that you're excited about?
Yeah, just a cold.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
No, yeah, I'm clearing through things at the moment.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Logan Carroll says, "How many likes not to call anything, dude? How many likes? That's not a matter of likes, buddy. Because let me tell you something. Every time I get rung up and I see that price, I'm like, wait a second. Did I buy that amount of comics?
Oh no.
I thought comics were $2.99. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Comics are dope and expensive.
Yeah.
fair enough. Comics are dopes. That YouTube channel, BJ Kicks, great channel. He has a budget of $50 a week for comics, and I'm always like, you got 5 comics practically.
How do you do it?
Yeah, like you only were able to get like 5 books. How the fuck? Even just what we read for the show is getting into that price range.
5, 6, like 30. Yeah, you got like $30 depending on the price of the book.
Yeah, that shit
Up
ain't no
there.
joke.
It's up there. And then you got a trade over. Done. That's it. Get him a bag.
All right. Let's figure out the stack number. So we've got the 6 we did for the show. You guys already know about all that. We have Power Rangers Prime number 2.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna quit on this yet. I did enjoy the first issue enough to give it another shot.
The Zeo cover.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Nightwing number 121. This has been excellent. I did not care about the Bruno Redondo Tom Taylor joint, but 3 issues deep, and I'm loving this run. So much fun.
Nice. Glad you're on that. Hey, Nightwing. Let's go.
Oh shit, sick. Marco wearing the Nightwing shirt. The Power Fantasy number 5. It's good stuff.
I need to read. I'm gonna sit down after this and do that one. That one I'm so excited for.
You're caught up.
Yes, because I have 4. Yeah.
Very good. The Sacrificers number 13. If we read this on the show ever, it would be in contention for Book of the Year.
Well, we don't read indie books, so.
Yeah, not that podcast.
The Moon is Following Us number 4. One of the best debuts of the year. I've loved this series so far. Excellent. Tin Can Society number 4. Remember that thing I just said about best debuting series of the year? This is the one. As far as like indie books go, this is the one. Tin Can Society is phenomenal. If you're not reading it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Namor number 5. I'm not sure why I bought that.
Oh, I want to catch up on it.
You should maybe don't buy that no more.
Nice. Well done.
The Immortal Thor number 18.
Yo,
Just
that's
had
got
out-
Hyde? Is that Hyde on the cover?
Yeah, he's in the book.
Hyde, Cobra, Radioactive Man. Is that Grey Gargoyle too? Hell yeah.
Yeah, you got to read this, bro. You got to read what they did to Thor and then what Thor did to them. Very good
damn.
stuff.
Got pegged, maybe. I don't know. I'm just. It's late in the show.
TVA number 1.
Oh,
Ah,
there you go, answering that question that Lucas gave you earlier.
Yes, exactly. Who wrote this? This is holy shit. Okay. Oh, they caught me. The artist on this is Pere Perez. And I thought that shit said Pepe Larraz.
yo.
And then the cover's done by Pepe Larraz.
Perry Perez is also a good artist too, but has a very similar name.
And it's-
Sneaking that in.
Written by Catherine Blair, who I'm unfamiliar with. I think she might have written for Loki, the show. Okay,
Correct, yeah.
fair enough. I got Fantastic Four number 27. And if you are a Marvel versus Capcom stan, stand up because I had to get the Doctor Doom variant. The Doctor Doom variant. The Doctor Doom fucking variant.
Bro, they took your wallet for a ride.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, this was regularly priced. This was $3.99.
Okay, all
man.
right. So then
Yeah.
we'll just keep it to
Wait,
the theme song.
do a pull out again? Because
Whoa, hey.
you know, nice.
Phenomenal. Batman and Robin year 3. Or
Yeah.
year 3. Year 1, number 3.
I got that one.
Imagine year 3. You
You're
really
like,
ran
all
out of ideas at that point.
Oh my goodness. What are we in? Like nearly year 100, actually, of Batman?
Yeah, of Batman. About to be.
Yeah. And then finally, Batman 155. You guys will be very aware that did not release this week, but I neglected to get it when it came out like 2 weeks ago or whenever that was. So I rectified that error. That's it. That's my stack this week.
I forgot to
lost
count.
track at-
I forgot
lost track at
that was
Power
my
Fantasy.
job when Kel's not here.
18.
I
Hot
think there were a
damn.
couple 18s. Let's go back into this. Jedi Tie. Oh no, fucking hell. James Jones, 18.
What?
Whoa.
I'm telling you, something's iffy. He knows too much.
How, dude?
That's
He must.
wild.
Jedi Tie also 18. Metamark also 18. Let's see.
I think that's it.
Those are the only 18s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hit me up if you want any of those Marvel books, any of the ones we talked about. Just you can hit me up only on Discord though.
Dan's making a correction. He says you bought one too many. I guess you got to return one.
Which one did I buy? Oh, Batman or TVA?
No, you just didn't. You didn't fit his number.
Right. Yeah.
Fair enough. Atomic Hound. James Jones is my cashier.
I'm starting to think.
I've seen James Jones and I've seen my cashier, and there are some significant differences. Let me tell you. My cashier, she was lovely this week, and I had a Marco moment. She was talking to me while there was a line. There was like an actual legitimate line, and all she wanted to do was chat it up about what? About Metamorpho. Ooh. And I'm like, listen, lady, I just interviewed Al Ewing, so you don't need to worry about anything else. Just talk to me, because I got all the tea.
Damn, yo, Sean risen him up with Metamorpho. That's crazy.
Damn.
I actually didn't say any of that, by the way. I didn't say any of that.
I can see this metamorphing into no.
James Jones says, "I am the stack," and then Last Young Renegade follows it with, "I am the Stakoa. The Stakoa is me."
Dude, that was this year, right? Would you guys? Was that
Krakoa
like a
was
top?
this year. How crazy is that?
That was, yeah.
It's been a year. Was that like a top moment of the year for the show?
Number
a memory?
3, the Stakoa.
Yeah,
The Stakoa.
no,
Like
no,
the
the
names
Stakoa.
that get dropped are hilarious on this, like by the listeners.
Oh yeah.
I think it was a fair partner to Krakosi the previous year.
That's right.
But that's an earlier. That was like
Is that 2 years ago?
You
I don't-
dropped that.
In my memory, I started on the show a year ago.
Every year, it's always been. Like
It's
Right.
always just been a year ago. Yeah, I'm new to the show.
Cole says Sean got that metamorphoriz. Not at all, dude. Not even close. I am the direct opposite. Atomic Hound says you really need to read the Santa Claus issue for a good metamorpho moment this week, with Mrs. Claus involved, no less. Well, we all know that while Santa is the one who they leave cookies and cream for,
Nope.
it's Mrs. Claus that got that milk.
And cream.
All right,
And
Sean,
If you know what I mean. Listen, bro, you never saw that movie?
thought you were being like, she
you
on
ever saw
cream
that
team.
movie? The Santa Claus 2?
I'm not.
With Woody, not Woody Allen.
No, you had a Woody with that one, I bet.
Whoa. Whoa, we're talking about a movie that I saw when I was a young lad. All right.
Woody with the Nutcracker.
It's Tim Allen. You're getting your Allens mixed up.
Hold on, right. So it was
Yeah.
Tim Allen, but it was also
Even the
was
chat's like, yo,
also-
Sean, chill.
Woody Harrelson.
no, it was Elizabeth Mitchell. Let me tell you something. Elizabeth Mitchell. You can have an awakening. Elizabeth Mitchell is stunning. She was on Lost, for those of you who are familiar. She played Juliet on Lost. Oh my goodness. All right. And she is Mrs. Claus in that universe. Are you kidding me, bro? They put out a fucking they put out a miniseries on Disney Plus. I watched some of that and she's still got it. It's been 20 years.
I was gonna shoot you down, but I then you said Juliet from Lost. I'm like, no, I get it.
Come on
That's
now.
fine. I understand. I get it.
Come
on
on
Maine,
now.
horny on Maine. This is why you need a burner podcast.
Yo,
That's
Comics
why
Pals After
I have my
Dark.
burner podcast. It's called the Krusty Sock.
Steve
Yo,
Canera says, "What is happening? What is happening is that I am having a moment that I can't describe. I don't know what's happening.
Sean has some eggnog before the show. It looks like.
I can't drink that.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yo,
That would,
Cole-
Sean
Cole
would
says
not
Sean
be on
gotta
the show
think-
if he drank that.
Cole says Sean got a thing for the older ladies this episode.
I don't discriminate, bro.
They
Not
all
at
need
all.
love. They all need love.
Not at all, bro. Come on now. Come on now.
Devolving. Yo, Atomic Hound. This is a train wreck worthy of The Fugitive.
Hey, that's a phenomenal movie, by the way. The Fugitive,
That
man. That's a
is.
great movie. Oh man, Dan says I've never been happier my wife isn't listening with me. Why not? Why not? Why can she not hear? Listen, maybe she would appreciate Elizabeth Mitchell. All right, Mrs. Claus. Come on now. Oh boy. Um
This is turning into the word balloon episodes where John Suntress interviews Mr. Skin. So let's.
I've watched that. I've watched
I
that.
bet you have.
Absolutely. Mr. Skin and I go a long way back, bro.
Hey, yo.
Comic book history says, did you see her and Joe Lee lesbian scene? What are you talking about?
That's why I'm trying to
comic
shoot
book
down these
history?
horny people in the chat.
What are you saying? What movie would have something like that in it that I would never ever want to see? What movie has that type of scene in it?
If you could point me in the direction of that film so I never have to watch it, please, I appreciate.
I have a list of films that I will never watch. You need to share that name with me now so I can add it to my file so that I never come across it. My goodness. All right. Dan Trudeau says hit the show eject button. Atomic Hound says this is a train wreck. So I guess that means it's time to close up shop.
I'm with them.
All right.
Bonk.
All right. We will be back with you Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. We're going to close out the year having a lot of fun, not only this Saturday, but the following Saturday, which is going to feature the Pallies, which is our award show at the end of the year. If you've never seen the Pallies, I really think you're missing out. It's a tremendous time, and I implore you all to show up on that day, Saturday, 10:15 a.m., live as we always are every single Saturday. Hit the like button on your way out. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Uncanny Suit says Gia is the movie. All right, I will never watch that movie. And that has Angelina Jolie in it?
Vile.
Oh
Disgusting.
my
Why would you
God.
do that?
Oh my God. All right, guys, I got to go.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you so much for watching. We'll see you